This is Neil Ross, and you are listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
It's time. The countdown begins.
Steve Megatron, rolling now with the Transformers power. TFG on my channeling the vibe, the nostalgia tower. OptimusSolo, steady voice, counting down the list we know. Top 100 rated series. Legends rise, the fans unite. From the classics to the brand new dreams, we're counting down the best tonight.
This, the GeekCast Radio Network.
Top 100 rated series countdown.
Hello and welcome to the GeekCast Radio Network's Top 100 Animated Series 15th Anniversary 2026 edition. I'm your host, Steve Megatron, and joining me in this animated foray are TFG and Mike.
Hello.
And OptimusSolo. This year's countdown is shaping up to be possibly the most unpredictable one we've ever assembled based on our intro episode alone. With over 40 submissions, new tunes, and a wider age demographic than any previous list, well, the results are going to be anything but predictable. Some shows that didn't get a single vote last time, suddenly gone, while others that were present on the old nostalgic list barely cracked the top 100 by hitting the 110 to 101 range this time around. So with all of these new contenders, fresh perspectives, and let's be honest, more than a few potential upsets waiting to happen, and a lot of probably upset nerds in the comment section, including those on the panel, the combination of longtime fans, new voices, and even a bit of celebrity input means that this list is going to hit deep, surprise more often, and spark more debate than ever before. So trust us, if you think you know what's coming and taking the number one spot, you really don't. Obviously coming from someone who hasn't even seen the list yet. So with that, take it away, OptimusSolo.
Yes, that's a perfect intro to what we have in store. I do want to peel back the curtain just a little bit here at the beginning. I guess it's a little inside baseball or whatever phrase you want to use, but obviously folks can't see us. This is not a video version, and even if they could see us, they would not be able to see my screen. And I just want to give people a little bit of information on what I'm looking at, just because it may get me out of trouble if I'm ever like stumbling over my words or fumbling through things or this, that, and the other. And I also want to talk about something that I'm not going to do this time around that we have done in previous top 100s, just because you'll understand why in a minute. So I have multiple screens open here. I have multiple Excel database sheets and spreadsheets. I have some internet pages open, not so much that it's going to bog down the recorder or anything like that, but I got a lot of stuff open. And the main sheet that I'm looking at consists of a lot of information. So I have the top 100 list, right? So I have the numbers that we're going to reveal here, 100 through 76. I have the show names. I have how many points they garnered. I have how many lists they appeared on. I have how much they increased or decreased their spot from 15 years ago, or if they were even on the list or got votes 15 years ago.
Right.
I have the average that it got ranked. If you take just the people that voted for it, what it would have averaged just based on those lists. Right. I also have what spot it was on the last list. I have what company produced it. I have what channel it aired on. I have what year it debuted. I have how many episodes it was on, how many awards it got nominated for, how many of the 9 lists that we kind of looked as we were trying to pressure test this they exist on. Then I have some sub rankings of like each time period, each channel, each production company as it breaks down just for this set of 25.
He's a baseball statistician,
not
people.
Overall stuff. And so we'll be giving a lot of information out over the course. And one thing that I've done in the past that we're not going to do this time is the one piece of information I do not have, I'm sorry, it's just not something I wanted to take on, is in the past, especially like the first time we did this around, I knew exactly where every contributor had each show ranked.
Okay.
And so I could say like, Steve and Mike and myself had this in the 20s, such and such was the highest rank. They had this at 13, et cetera, et cetera. There's 44 people.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
It's not worth it. Yeah,
I do have, Yeah, I do have if it showed up at number 1 on somebody's list, and if so, how many people had it at number 1. That's as
Yeah.
much as you're going to get revealed from the contributors list. We can do more revealing of contributor stuff in the wrap up at the end.
Yeah, that's fine. That's more than fine. I mean, sounds like you have an entire bat cave of Dark Knight screens in front of you. So
Well, and then I
you're
could
good.
scroll over on my spreadsheet, and then there's the old top 100 list from 15 years ago.
No.
And then and then there's another chart that has just the new shows that made it this time that didn't last time. Then there's another chart that has the shows that were on it last time that aren't on it this time. There's a lot of stuff. And that's
You're not even doing math, and my head already hurts.
that's just one tab. There's actually like 6 tabs on this spreadsheet. I'm not even going to go into the other ones. All right. So that's what we have against us today. And we're going to start with that first set of 25. So we're going to reveal live on the record numbers 100 through 76. Steve and Mike do not know what's coming, so there will be live reactions. We should be somewhat better prepared than we were 15 years ago, like we said in the intro episode, because all of us know which shows were on the 264 nominee list. So it's not like we're going to get something completely out of left field that we've not discussed in the last 6 months while we did all of those nomination records or nomination reveal records. So there may be some things that still surprise them, but they're not going to be something that's like, hey, remember when we didn't talk at all about this one show? Like, that's not going to happen. So,
And again, folks, I will say before we kick this off, if you have not listened to the nomination process episodes, please go listen to those. We put a lot of work into those because that's part of this whole experiment this time around and how we did this.
And to piggyback off of that, you'll get more of our mentality and the thoughts behind the list
Exactly.
by listening to those episodes.
Exactly.
and I will try to do my best for each show that comes up. Like, we will have multiple discussions, right? We will have the discussion come up of does it belong in the top 100 or not, especially more so in this episode and maybe the next episode. That's when you usually get the conversations on does it belong or not. In the other episodes, when we start talking about not the top 50, those discussions usually go away. It's no longer about do they belong or do they not. It's about do they belong higher or do they belong lower and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So we will have those conversations, but I feel like I can at least try to play the role of giving the argument for why each of these 25, the argument that some people would make. The three of us might disagree. The three of us might say we don't think this one belongs, but I will at least try to give the rationale for why somebody would make a case for each of these shows, and then we'll have to decide if we agree or disagree with it. The other thing I would like to point out is if you've never listened to any of our top 100 countdowns before, the intro episode is kind of a standard length. The wrap-up episode is kind of a standard length. But for these episode reveals, when we do these 25 shows, you might as well buckle up, get yourself something to drink, and sit back, because we do spend some time on these. So
yeah, we do. These 100 through 76, 75 to 51, 50 to 26, and then especially 25 to number 1, I would say range from 2 hours 15 minutes to just over 3 hours 30 minutes.
we'll see what happens this time. That's just based on history and how these have kind of gone in the past. So.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
you also want to mention, do you want to mention the fact that we have a numerous amount of ties here, or did you want to say that?
We are going to have 6 ties over the course of the top 100, and half of those will come in today's episode. So we're going to try something different today and debate the placement of each of those on air. There's 3 of us, so there should be an odd number of votes. So that means we can kind of pick and choose which ones get those specific spots. And if it's a train wreck, I apologize, and we'll call an audible for the next episode. Actually, we won't have another tie until the top 50. So we'll have 3 in this episode, none in the second episode, and then we'll have 2 in the top 50 episode and 1 in the top 25 episode. All right. So any questions or comments before we start revealing, Mike?
Don't think so.
Steve?
I don't have any either.
All right, let's get into it then.
100.
Look at those clouds up there. They're beautiful. And it's a perfect day for a drive.
Oh, Trixie, please stop talking. I'm trying to figure something out.
Oh.
He's gone over
99.
A battle for our planet's survival was on, and young Rick Hunter found himself caught up in the war.
All right, as we teased in the last episode, we are starting the entire countdown off with a tie. And I find this humorous because I can see which two shows are tied. And I think it's going to be a fun, little interesting debate on which one takes the 100 spot and which one takes the 99 spot. But they are definitely related in a way. So the two shows that we need to debate right now on which one gets 100 and which one gets 99, they both scored 762 points. One was on 13 lists, the other was on 15 lists. One we did not rank at all last time around, even though it was eligible. And one has fallen 2 spots from its original ranking 15 years ago. So it's going from, well, or one, depending on how this tie breaks ends up, because it was 98 last time around, and it's going to be either 99 or 100 this time. So one of them is from 1967. The other is from 1985. We need to debate the merits and decide the order for Speed Racer from 1967 and Robotech from 1985. So, Speed Racer, I'll just go quick and then I'll let Steve and Mike decide on what they think of these two and in what order we should go in them. Speed Racer is obviously a very early anime entry for the US audience. We're talking about 1967, kind of like a gateway show to anime, and it probably has a lot of historical merit, maybe not as much like entertainment quality, like overall goodness, but historical importance. Robotech kind of introduced a different way. It's still anime. You could still consider it a gateway anime show, but what this did in the 1980s was kind of flip the script a little bit, because not only was it also introducing anime to some folks, but in a decade that was much more about serialized or non-serialized content, this was a serialized storytelling cartoon. So up until that point, we got, episodes of the week and there was not much continuity, and Robotech kind of did something different for the US audiences here in 1985. Steve, what do you think of the merits of these two, and which one would you rank higher?
So I remember watching these late at night as a young teenager, and honestly, like they both have their own individual charm. They both have their individual things that they kind of did for animation. Especially with Speed Racer being kind of that initial kind of jump into the anime. And then you get the theme song, you get the fact that, the Mach 5 and, just everything about that. After a while, I found Speed Racer to be very grating to watch. The voice acting was fine. It wasn't stellar either, but the characters were kind of annoying to some degree. They both share like a very similar aesthetic as far as the people are concerned, even though they're 20 years apart. Although Robotech has more of that polished look, the kind of the look that they gave some of the later Transformers series that never made it over to America.
Right.
And between the two, Speed Racer has that longevity that you kind of just know what it is, and they tried to make a film of it, and it was terrible. Robotech, as far as I can recall, they've only done animation with it. They've done some video games. They've tried to kind of do different things with it, with different films, animated films. I honestly liked it just because we got transforming, kind of mechs that you're able to have them pilot. It's a little bit darker. It has, I don't know. I actually read some, and I can't remember them now, but I read some Robotech books like back when I was like 11 or 12, and I just remember enjoying them. So for me, I'm going to vote Robotech as the superior show out of these two. I understand that people are going to like one more than the other, but I honestly think that Robotech kind of has that, even though it started in the 80s, it's still they've still released content even into the 20 teens and tried to bring it about with video games and card games and everything
Yeah.
else.
I think it's interesting because I think, like the Speed Racer, important versus enjoyable. And like you said, it can be grating if you could like try to watch a bunch of it today.
Mhm.
So do you just like say, well, the important part outweighs it, or does the lack of enjoyability that you get from watching it bring it down? And then Robotech's kind of, I guess some people call it like a Frankenstein of a cartoon show because it is
Pretty
a
much.
combination of a lot of different things that was happening that kind of got brought together for a US audience. So it's interesting, but I think, Mike, you mentioned in the intro episode that we might get some science fiction and some robot related stuff and things like there, and we're starting exactly in that kind of space. So for you, how does it come down to Speed Racer and Robotech?
So in the lead up to all of this, in our however many months long that it took us to plan this whole thing to get where we are to today, R2, D2, uh, uh, I
That's the Astromech,
watched,
not Robotech.
yeah, I know. I watched a lot of stuff that I've never seen before,
Mhm.
and Speed Racer and Robotech were two of the things that I had seen here or there, kind of thing. I'd
Really?
seen them in past. Yeah, I never really sought those out. It was just neither one of them were like when you mentioned Speed Racer to me, I know what it is and I had seen what it was, but I'm more Speed Buggy than I am Speed Racer. I'm more sputtering Speed Buggy than I am Speed Racer. So I went and because again, part of this project for me was seeking out the stuff that I had never seen before, or rewatching things and trying to give them a better fair shake than I did the first time around 15 years ago. I still hate Family Guy for the most part. Anyway,
We'll forgive you.
yeah, whatever. Anyway, uh but yeah, I gotta go with Robotech. Robotech was cooler. It was more interesting, even though it was going up against aliens. It was still more interesting to me than Speed Racer.
Robotech definitely fared better 15 years ago. So, like I said, last time we did this countdown, Robotech was at the number 98 spot. Speed Racer may make the case for the biggest jump that we're going to see in this entire countdown because Speed Racer 15 years ago came in at 349th place.
Wow.
And it now is climbing into what appears to be the 100th spot here because you two have both said Robotech, which is the way I would have gone as well. So we have Speed Racer at number 100. So from 349 to 100, and then Robotech goes from 98 to 99. So that is where we start today. One humongous jump and one change of one spot. So
Nice.
we see both ends of the spectrum. Let's an interesting start. Let's see where we go from here.
98.
Daddy has a lot of work to do. Bye-bye.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Well, we're not going to go too far, I guess, in one respect for our number 98, although time period, we are jumping a little bit. So we went from 1967 with Speed Racer to 1985 with Robotech. And let's go on into the 2000s, 2003 specifically, for this show that did not appear on the original countdown because it didn't didn't exist or
Didn't
barely
exist.
existed at that point.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep it though with the theme of some anime to start off our countdown. So let's go with Full Metal Alchemist for our number 98 spot. Now, this is one that's interesting because it's also kind of a first foray into shows that have had multiple incarnations or variations or spin-offs or sequels, reboots, whatever you want to call it, which always brings up the discussion point as we go through these countdowns of when that happens. Is it harder for a show because you split your vote between some of the different versions of it and you only vote for one versus the others? or how does that affect things? It's kind of interesting when it comes to that. It is widely respected, though, in the world of anime. So, Mike, what do you think? We have 3 animes here in a row, and we're jumping decades at a time. So we're at Full Metal Alchemist here with number 98.
I think this list is way more interesting at this point compared to the old one when it comes to the anime representation. I, even though I already said so far that I tried going back and watching some of the stuff was hard for me to find on legal channels that
Mhm.
I didn't really have to purchase, like, or finding good quality versions of stuff like on YouTube and things like that. And I just never could get into Full Metal Alchemist, so I haven't seen a lot of this show.
It's also our first entrant that originally debuted on Adult Swim, I think, here in the US. Steve, from an anime standpoint, we already teased one of them in our introduction episode because Neon Genesis Evangelion has already fallen. It was 107. Now we get Robotech Speed Racer and Full Metal. Is that a good sign for anime or a bad sign for anime?
I mean, the fact that it made the list to begin with is a good thing for anime. Yes, this one is very critically acclaimed as a manga series, as well as its iteration here. I wonder. I'm sure we're gonna get hate for this one, just because of the nature of it. I do know that it has a certain audience. It's not one that I've put on my list, but it's also not one that I hated, like outright just didn't like. It was just kind of one I had to make a selection of which animes I was putting on there, and it didn't resonate as much with me as some other ones. So it ended up not making the chopping block for me there. But I do know that this one is very much along the same lines of some of the shows I would have put on my list had other ones not been there.
Yeah.
Got the same kind of cheesy stuff, battles, magic. I mean, you've got all these different elements that kind of play into that. It even, as far as like some of the notoriety, has even beaten things like Attack on Titan and some other stuff like that. So,
Right.
And they also have it on Netflix.
There you go.
Cool.
So if you're trying to watch some of it, they have the different. They have 5 parts, which are, I believe, like 5 episodes a piece or something, or maybe more. About 10 episodes a piece per part. So you're looking at about like 50 episodes.
I had all 3 of these first shows ranked on my list, all between numbers 77 and 82. So I understand why the argument exists for all of them.
Totally.
And I don't think we can. I think all of them couldn't be debated too much about belonging or not. I think the order and where they fall, that'll be a different conversation we can have later. But interesting start to the countdown with our first 3 shows all being anime. We are not going to go very far for the next one.
97.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic, before the Dark Times, before the Empire.
All right. I might have teased you by thinking we were going to have another anime, but instead we're going to stay in the year 2003. That's what I meant by not going too far. So with our number 98 pick, we had our first Adult Swim show. For our number 97 pick, we're going to the world of Cartoon Network from 2003. You either are a fan of this show or you do not like it at all. I feel like it's one extreme or the other. I don't think there's a lot of people in the middle. Our number 97 is the 2003 Star Wars Clone Wars. This would be the Tarkovsky one.
The Tarkovsky one.
Not Star Wars The Clone Wars from 2008. This is Star Wars Clone Wars 2003. Yes. So this one actually fell quite a few spots from our last time. It fell 31 spots on the countdown. So it was somewhere in the 60s 15 years ago. It has dropped all the way down to number 97, almost off the list entirely. Mike, what do you think of Star Wars Clone Wars?
It was okay. It was interesting at the time. It was coming off the heels of it was in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. So it was an interesting time period between 2002 and 2005. So it was a cool interest. Again, you're talking about Genndy Tartakovsky, who didn't he do the Powerpuff Girls, or he did something else? I forget what else he did.
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack, yeah. Dexter, that's what he did. Two Stupid Dogs, Dexter's Lab.
Well,
he did do the Powerpuff Girls. He did direct several of
so guy was a staple of old Cartoon Network, like the beginning of Cartoon Network. So, and he's done other things like Hotel Transylvania, then Powerpuff Girls. He's worked on Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
He's one of the main reasons why I was not a fan of Cartoon Network in the beginning.
It was definitely an acquired taste at the beginning, and I feel like you either loved his animation style or you didn't.
Yes,
and in some instances it worked. In this particular instance, I don't think so. But we at least got to keep the voice actors for when they actually brought it over as the Clone Wars.
I have heard the argument out there from some people that say this is the coolest Star Wars ever looked. I am not in that camp, but I know there is a segment of the population that believes that.
I think at the time, if we didn't get the Clone Wars and everything the Clone Wars did, if we had only gotten this, it was at the time the coolest. Because before this, what did we have?
I mean, we had the Ewoks and the droids in the 80s.
Yeah, but that's
all we had.
Yeah, that's all we had.
And the Star Wars Christmas special.
No, shut up. That's all that existed. This also did introduce kind of that, like, Mike. I don't know if it introduced it, but it's one of the first times I remember it. I shouldn't say it introduced it because this existed like in the early classic era, but like from a cartoon that was coming out in this time period, like the micro episode format from a storytelling standpoint and things of that nature was kind of an interesting take. I'll give it that much, but it was kind of a new foray into the world of animation for this franchise.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, they had to do something. And literally, as I'm looking at the Wikipedia article, it begins shortly after Attack of the Clones. So literally, they were bridging the gap between Attack of the Clones and yes.
I was going to say, however, it's not considered official canon.
No.
It's legends.
Yeah. No. I understand that. I'm just saying, going with the timeline of what Star Wars was doing at the time from 2002 to 2005, they had it's similar. It's not as bad as the Christmas special, thank God. But it's similar to what the Christmas special did between Star Wars and Empire. This is the bridge between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I like the Clone Wars much better.
Speaking of that, Steve, we are into a franchise here, obviously, with Star Wars. If Star Wars Clone Wars comes in here at number 97, what is your guess for how many Star Wars shows we get in total on the entire countdown?
Probably all of them.
Okay.
Because there's three more prominent ones, I should say. There have been a couple other limited edition series, but I think there's 3 other prominent ones. So I foresee a lot of them being on the list, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, let's see where we go and what time period we go to next. We're not going to stay in 2003.
96.
This is Principal Brinkley talking. I want to inform you all that I have a fat, saggy butt, which I like to scratch every hour on the hour.
Get ready.
Into a decade we have not heard from yet. The 90s. So let's go to something completely different. 1997 is the year. This show drops 10 spots from its previous location on our countdown 15 years ago, coming in at 96 this time. We're going to go to the wonderful world of Disney in a series that aired on ABC originally, this would be Recess. Recess, the playground politics, universally loved childhood, almost like sitcom for kids. Recess at
Yeah.
number 96. Mike, you reacted first, so I'll let you go first.
I love this show. This show is so funny. uh, this is one of those shows that I don't hear a lot of people talking. Like, you see fandoms and other things for a lot of shows and stuff. I don't see a lot of people talking about Recess, but Recess, basically about the lives of 6 different 4th graders. Just very, very interesting, very cool, very fun. Uh, and it was just an interesting time to have a show like this, because when we were all kids, we were all going out to recess and whatever else. Because for me, I was, let's see, kindergarten to 6th grade. That was 85 to 92. So for me in 4th grade, recess was not as wild as this show is. It was wild, but it wasn't this wild. But like, you think about all the ideas in the world in the 90s that a creator could come up with. Hey, let's do a show about recess. And I know it's not on the countdown, and that's more than fine. Same thing with Fillmore. Fillmore's on, School Safety Patrol. Who in the hell would do a cartoon show anyway? But same concept. Like, I love shows like that, and this is, Recess. I just absolutely love this show. Wow, I can't believe it went down.
This is the as we talked about in the introductory episode, like,
yeah,
some shows were going to have to either get bounced from the countdown or go down, or just how far they would fall. And out of all the movement that we're going to see in today's episode, obviously we're going to have a big chunk of the not ranked before list. We said that there was 27 shows that are added this time around that weren't ranked last time. We're going to have just under half of those are going to show up in today's episode. And the shows that were ranked last time, every single one of them that we talk about today will have fallen down except for 2. There's only 2 shows that we're going to talk about that we had ranked last time that are ranked higher this time. So we'll get to those here in a little bit. The craziest thing about Recess to me is that it took until 1997 for someone to do this.
Yeah, really? Don't you think it would have been done way earlier?
Yeah, because it's like a great concept. It's a great idea. It's got to be one that it came out and people are like, why didn't we do that earlier?
Yeah, why didn't we do that earlier? Before Steve goes and gives his thoughts, the one thing I will say is, and I'm gonna say it now so I don't have to repeat myself later. Half the shows that we end up revealing on this on our countdown here, I'm going to say this now so I don't have to repeat this in other episodes. I guarantee you, as long as they're on any streaming service, they're probably going to end up on Tooncast, because all the episodes of Recess are currently on Disney Plus in the US. And I guarantee you, I'm going to cover Recess on Tooncast at some point this year.
We're just trying to create more content for Mike to do. So it's what we do here.
More
Steve,
work,
what are your
just
thoughts
for me
on Recess?
I remember watching this on the one Saturday morning.
Yep.
That Disney used to have, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It kind of played to that younger kid. I mean, I wasn't that age anymore, but at the same time, I could relate, and I found it entertaining. I didn't watch it through its entire 65 episode run, but I did catch episodes here and there when I would watch Saturday morning cartoons, because it would be on like ABC. And I found the dynamic between the friends kind of interesting. You had all the different stereotypes in there. You had the crazy security guard teacher.
Yep. Randall.
Yeah. Well, not just Randall. The lady.
God, what was her name?
I'm butchering the names because I don't remember any of the names. I remember watching the show and genuinely in
This is
Finster.
Finster.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember genuinely enjoying it though. It kind of gave me a different parallel to like a Simpsons, but it's more grounded in situations you might see, or like the dynamics of the playground. You know, the sixth grader as the king of the playground and things like that. So it was just, I don't know, it was kind of fresh and different. So it was enough to catch my interest at that point.
Yeah, I think it's a show that gets a lot of love. It was nominated for at least 10 awards that we looked at. So it's got some critical acclaim there as well. So we went from anime to anime to anime. And then we went from 2003 to 2003. And now we're going to go from Disney to another Disney show.
95.
There aren't any gummy bears now, but they used to exist. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows they're just fairy tales.
All right, number 95, a Disney show, but not from the 90s. And actually, for the second time this countdown, we're going to have a second year represented. So we had two 2003 shows, and now this is going to be our second show from 1985. And a lot of people will call this kind of a foundational show for Disney, maybe a precursor to the Disney afternoon. Our number 95 pick dropped 18 slots in the last 15 years, but still made the countdown. We're talking about Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears, one of the best theme songs ever created for a cartoon. If you don't believe me, go listen to it. It's just, I always have it in my top 5 all-time theme songs.
Yep.
But it's also one of those serialized kid storytelling shows that existed that was kind of not commonplace in the 80s. I'm a big fan of this one. I had it ranked in my 60s on my list. I just think that this is, from a Disney standpoint, yes, there was a couple shows that came prior to this, but this one was so crucial in getting us to everything that Disney did in the late 80s, early 90s. So I think it has a lot of influential aspects going that you could give it some props for and reasons for why it should be on the list for that point. From a quality standpoint, overall, do you compare it to some of the other Disney shows that come later? Maybe not, but I think just for its impact and influential aspects that it deserves a spot on the list. So I'm happy even though it dropped 18 spots, I'm happy that it stayed here. Mike, what do you think of Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears?
Love this show. This show's amazing. And because of the last show that we just revealed in this show, Miss Finster was voiced by April Winchell. Her father plays Zummy Gummy. Paul Winchell plays
Got
Zummy.
connections all over the place.
Yep. But no, Adventures of the Gummy Bears. Oh man, absolutely love this show. This show was so cool. This is one of the cartoon shows that just was so original that lets you just escape. It was kind of a Arthurian legend, but it really wasn't. It was a kind of an offshoot of the Arthurian legend, and it just lets you, like I said, escape. And it was so cool. It was so fun. You got June Foray as Grammy Gummy. You got Lorenzo Music as Tummy, and such a great voice cast in this, and the adventures they would go on, the ogres, fighting them and fighting the Duke and saving Princess Kala and all that. Just, it's so good.
Steve, what do you think of the Adventures of the Gummy Bears?
Yeah. I like the theme song.
He's never seen it.
No, I've seen it because I gave every show a shot that went into our 264 count. I didn't really care for it. Like I found, and I get it. It's probably the fact that I wasn't raised on it is why it doesn't resonate. And I would argue that's probably the same reason why like Speed Racer didn't resonate with me is because, again, I wasn't raised with it. It was just something I caught when it was on, and I didn't have the Disney Channel when I was a kid. So if it wasn't on ABC, I didn't see it until much, much later. So I don't necessarily have the nostalgia for it to enjoy it the way that like you guys do. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's why for me, like, it's not as much about the quality of the overall show. Like, I think it's kind of hit or miss with some of the things. I think for me, I've the reason I have it on my list is more about the impact that it had on the Disney animation vehicle.
I
Yeah.
watch this all the time.
I mean,
Because I
I
feel
would
like if
say
this
that,
isn't successful, we don't get some of the shows that I'm sure will come up later.
well, and it was good as far as the animation. Like,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
there were, I mean, and that's something Disney's pretty much always been stellar at, is like one up in their game with the animation. Some
Mhm.
other studios had similar situations, but like overall, like Disney constantly was one upping throughout the 80s through to the 90s.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I mean, this show, it's the animation, it's the music, it's the voice cast, it's also the storytelling. The story, like, I don't remember if it had serialized or if they were
Yeah,
episodic,
yeah, they were
but
serialized.
wasn't most of it serialized? Because
Yeah,
it's been a
yeah.
while since I've gone back and watched every episode. I've gone back and watched episodes here or there,
It might not
but
be heavily serialized, but it is serialized.
some of it is okay, yeah. Uh, but just, man, like, every time I did watch this show, because I remember having the original DVD set when it came out, I went nuts. I was like stalking Best Buy, like, when is it coming out? When is it coming? Because back then, when the DVD set came out, it was like TV shows on DVD.com, which isn't available anymore, and everything else, and all this and all that. And because I think I have a YouTube video on my YouTube channel about getting the DVD set and whatever else. Just absolutely love Adventures of the Gummy Bears. It's so good.
This is one of many shows that will come up over the course of this countdown that I own the complete series of on DVD as
Mm-hmm.
well. So,
Yep.
all right. So we have seen some anime. We've seen an entrance from Lucasfilm with Clone Wars. Seen a couple Disney shows. Let's hear from a new production company next.
94.
With a little luck, they may never find out we're aboard. We can sleep here every night, mingle with the passengers during the day. Then he can slip us some food from the dining room. We'll have a ball.
I say new production company, but I guess it's kind of old as well because this one's from 1961 and it's going to come in at number 94 this time around. It was not ranked in our top 100 15 years ago, even though it was definitely eligible since it came out in 1961. So it has risen from 166th
Hmm.
place all the way up to 94th. It will be our first entrant from the production company known as Hanna-Barbera,
Hmm.
originally aired on ABC. We're talking about Top Cat. So, the interesting part about Top Cat, I was doing some research on this in the days and whatnot leading up to this. I didn't realize how popular this show is internationally. So
Hmm.
it's not as big in the US as it is internationally, especially in Latin America. For some
Hmm.
reason, Top Cat is a big hit there, but obviously one of the more well-known characters from Hanna-Barbera's catalog. But it didn't make our list last time. It does this time. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I forgot it didn't make the list last time. I thought it would have. I love Top Cat. I love Benny. I love them all.
Hanna-Barbera didn't get as much love as I had anticipated last time around. I will say that much.
Yeah. The Adventures of Top Cat, Benny the Ball, Choo Choo, Brain, Spook, and all of them. Just so good. The ski Top Cat was one of the like he was one of the ultimate schemers. He really, really was. Like it was so good.
Do you think it's worthy of being top 100, even though we did not put it on there last time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This show is so good. It's so fun because so let's see. Trying to see Top Cat versus Garfield. What's the comparison? The comparison would be Top Cat is trying to get away with schemes away from what's the
I would say
officer's
Top Cat's way
name?
more comparable to Heathcliff than it is Garfield.
Okay, well, Officer Charlie Dibble. Um, but who does Heathcliff have?
No, I'm just saying like Heathcliff is like a group of like street cats that is like
Okay,
trying to
but
go around, and that's kind of what
right,
Top Cat
right.
is, whereas Garfield's just a
Okay.
house cat.
Yeah, okay, fine. So Heathcliff versus Top Cat. I was trying to compare Top Cat to Garfield, where Top Cat has Officer Dibble and Garfield has John. Like Garfield's always trying to get the lasagna kind of thing.
I
But
see where you're
okay,
going with that.
yeah. So Top Cat's always trying to do schemes, and he's always trying to get this and get that and whatever else. And I always thought Heathcliff was just trying to do mischief just to do mischief. Like
He was.
yeah. Top Cat, they were more of a get like honestly, and I know this is really sad, but excuse me for being a sheltered white kid in Southeast Massachusetts in the 80s, but Top Cat's gang was the first gang I ever saw on TV. Sorry. Uh, but like him and that's why Officer Dibble was always after him. They're always, getting schemes. I don't know. I liked Top Cat. He was always, that cat that just always, had to, I don't know.
I
I don't
Top
know.
Cat did not make my list. I respect Top Cat as far as a Hanna-Barbera character and a classic character, cartoon character etc. I just didn't quite have enough room. I had some other Hanna-Barbera shows that I ranked instead, but from a influence or kind of pop culture standpoint, he has appeared in a lot of stuff. So Top Cat and his gang or members of his gang appeared in Yogi's Ark, appeared in Yogi's Treasure Hunt, appeared in Wake, Rattle, and Roll, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, The Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Futurama, Jellystone, Teen Titans Go. And how about this, Mike, which I guess solidifies my comparison? Top Cat and his gang appeared in the March 10th, 2016 strip of Heathcliff. So
Interesting.
there's a crossover, I guess, from that standpoint. I didn't realize how popular it was internationally and things of that nature. So I had other Hanna-Barbera characters on my list, not Top Cat, but I'm not saying he's not necessarily worthy. Steve, what do you think?
So I actually did not list this show on my list. I actually went in favor of Heathcliff, and it's funny because I was kind of torn between the two. Like I wanted to list them both, but I had other series that I was trying to include, both old and new, and other Hanna-Barbera series that I felt like were more enjoyable to watch. And some of them I had on my list because, I mean, it would be like sacrilegious to not have them. So I had to sacrifice somewhere, and Top Cat, unfortunately, was one of them. However, I did really enjoy this cartoon.
Yeah.
For me, it was kind of neck and neck between Top Cat and Heathcliff. Top Cat was more your smooth talking kind of,
almost had like an urban sitcom vibe.
yeah. I mean, he had all these different scams and all these other things, but it was more like it was very sitcom ish, but he also had like this different presence with himself. Like he wasn't trying to get into trouble, but he was trying to make,
Wasn't trying to get into
trying to be
trouble.
the
He's
top
just trying
cat,
to
like,
make he's trying to make trouble. Yeah.
yeah. Whereas Heathcliff is like everything he's doing is trouble.
Anarchy.
It was like taking Garfield, but mixing him with Top Cat, and you get Heathcliff.
Yeah, I think their two characters are different. I think where I see the similarities is the Cadillac Cats that followed Heathcliff compared to Top Cat's gang.
Correct.
Is like kind of the similarity.
And I feel like that's where Heathcliff got better, was with the Cadillac Cats.
Yes.
And I feel like Top Cat, his gang, I mean, it very much looks like a Hanna-Barbera show. Like you've got a lot of Flintstones cues right in there and Jetsons cues, like right in the animation style, which is not a bad thing. It makes it, I think, more familiar and more readily to be accepted because it shares a similar style to those two series. And so therefore I feel like it got adopted better.
Steve, I have one other question, somewhat unrelated to Top Cat itself, but kind of more about our list overall. So we had Speed Racer, which is a 1967 show that rose from 349th to 100. We had Top Cat that rose from 166th to 94th. That was from 1961. Does this speak to a theme that we will see throughout the rest of the countdown on our wider range of age demographics that are included in our contributors? Or do you think it's just a few shows like that that just got more love over time?
I think it's both. I think it's a lot of it is like we've got a different age range. A lot of us have gotten older and seen a lot more stuff. And then, those of us that, have kids have introduced them to some of these series. And so, I mean, I feel like there's that. I feel like there's age too that's kind of hit some of us and made us enjoy things differently than we once did. And so giving shows a shot that may not have had it the first time around. So I'm pleasantly surprised to see that shows that didn't make it the first time around are making it or making it, into the top 100 to begin with.
Yeah.
So, but then again, we've had other shows that missed it by that much. And we're on the original list,
Right.
and so, Neon Genesis Evangelion was 99 in the old list. It's 107 this time. Magic School Bus was 89 last time. It's 102 this time. So like some of them have flip-flopped, and it's not just been a minor flip-flop. Like those have been a minor flip-flop. I mean, with Top Cat and Speed Racer specifically, it was a huge flip-flop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to kind of track that as we go too to see if that trend continues with some of the older shows or if it's just kind of random shows across the block that have just maybe aged more gracefully, I guess, over the last 15 years. So we're international flavor a little bit with Top Cat with its popularity. Let's go to one that was literally produced internationally.
93.
Where can we get a rasher of bacon 5 yards long?
The ferocious Tibetan Yeti.
Oh, no.
All right. For our number 93, for us in the US, we first saw this show first time I've mentioned this on today's countdown, on Nickelodeon is where we first saw this back in 1981. And I am ecstatic that this show has remained on the countdown.
No.
It dropped from number 69 to 93. And it was in danger, I guess, of falling out of the countdown completely. And I'm so happy that it didn't, because I think this one is criminally underrated.
Oh, no.
Because most of it is super popular more in the UK. I think it's probably one of the top 5, top 10 shows in the UK all time, and it doesn't get that same attention here in the US. So I'm ecstatic that Danger Mouse has come in here at number 93 from Cosgrove Hall. Like I said, it came over to us on Nickelodeon, and I think it deserves all the love. So Danger Mouse, number 93. Mike, you thought it was something else, but it's Danger Mouse.
Yeah, for a minute there, I was getting scared. I'm like, oh my God, if he mentions that one that I hate.
But I said 1981, so that should have been a clue for you.
Yeah, I know. But I forgot when that other evil thing came out. Thank God. Yes, Danger Mouse. Absolutely. Best show ever.
Mike just went straight to best show ever. I guess we can close up the countdown, Steve. We don't need to do any more of this.
Nope.
He's already crowned it top show ever.
Well, no, I said best show ever. No, I absolutely love Danger Mouse. I grew up watching Danger Mouse. It was so cool. It was so fun. Absolutely love that.
I think it would have been easy for this one to slip out since we didn't have a big UK conglomerate and our contributors. So that's why I'm happy that it remained. It was on 14 lists. It was out of I haven't mentioned this yet today, but we talked about different lists that we looked at as we were trying to come up with our nominees, right? Like we had our own list, we had our own thoughts, we did a lot of pressure tests. We also looked at a variety of lists just to see if we had missed anything. And I looked at the original GeekCast Radio list. We looked at the IGN list. We looked at a list from Wizard, from TV Guide, from Digital Dream Door, Channel 4, IndieWire, Ranker, and a couple other ones. And this show actually appeared on 5 of those lists, which is more than any show we've talked about so far today. So it does have some universal praise when it comes into like the more critic circles, but I feel like the majority of audiences may not have been exposed to Danger Mouse because of its when it came out and because of it not being, a US cartoons. And if you didn't have Nickelodeon, maybe you didn't have a way to watch it. But like I said, it clung to its spot within our top 100, and that makes me happy. Steve, have you had any exposure to Danger Mouse?
Yeah, actually, and no, I'm not talking about the new one. I have seen bits and pieces of the new one, but no, the old one, it had its own particular charm to it. I loved the song, the theme. Like
Yes.
I think I love theme songs for old animated shows just because nowadays we don't get that kind of
Prime. Yeah.
awesomeness. You know, the 80s and 90s were quite frankly uh
Cartoon theme heaven.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I couldn't think of the right word, but that fits. Um
Yep.
so I think that this is really cool. This kind of fits along with like your Secret Squirrel, a lot of the other type of shows that kind of fit into this realm. Uh, this one did also create a follow up or spin off series, and
Yes.
Count Duckula,
Yep.
which was interesting on its own right too.
Then the reboot, and I don't remember what year the reboot came out. It was within the last
2015.
Yeah,
okay, I was gonna say, I thought it was
2015.
in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, and it was Boulder Media that did some of it. I mean, it's been passed around.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did it from 2015 to 2019. So
I think I've seen bits and pieces of the new one as well, but not as much to like make a judgment on it. But
yeah,
I'm not always huge on all British humor, but the British humor in this specific cartoon, similar to Count Duckula, just really worked for me.
and it kind of feels like a cartoon, like almost like Spy vs Spy or 007 type thing, and
Yeah, and it definitely
but
reminds you of like the type of like I don't obviously Nickelodeon in our time period was more well known for game shows and more well known for probably its live action in the early days. I know they did more cartoons later on, but like in the beginning, it was much more about Snick and game shows and things of that nature. There wasn't a ton of cartoon stuff, but this is very like symbolic of the type of animation that existed. They like to do some more non-traditional, a little bit more off the beaten path animation and some of their other shows. So this fit right in with like early Nickelodeon to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know how much
Absolutely.
of a player Nickelodeon will be on this countdown. It'll have to be something we track. Like I said, I may not be the first place you think of when you think of animated series, but we'll have to see how many entrants come from the world of Nickelodeon over the course of this countdown.
Yep.
Right. So we were at Hanna-Barbera a second ago. Let's go back there next.
92.
Their mission to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
All right, for our number 92, we go back to Hanna-Barbera and another show that originally debuted on ABC. This one has dropped more than any show that we have talked about today. It was ranked 40 last time. It falls to 92 this time. So a drop of 52 places for the conglomerate known as Super Friends, which debuted in the 70s. So we had this 40 in our top 50 last time at number 40. It drops all the way down to 92. I know in the nominee episodes we talked about this one specifically, and if it was one that we had kind of targeted that could potentially fall all the way out of our top 100, it did not quite do that. It made it to 92. Start with you this time, Steve. What do you think of Super Friends coming in here? Obviously, another one that, similar to Speed Racer, is it more important, culturally impactful, or influential to the genre versus good quality? Kind of like we talked about with Speed Racer, or where do you kind of land with Super Friends?
I'm kind of torn because a lot of these old animated series were pretty hokey. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, like it's to me it's almost like it's better than like Star Trek the animated series, but it's not great compared to what we got in the 90s. I feel like we got spoiled in the 90s. Like we got
Yeah.
quality, like good writing, good voice acting, good animation, like just all the way around it was good. This I mean it works for the time, but I don't know if it necessarily translates to now to anything anybody's going to watch outside
Right.
of us that kind of grew up with it or saw it on rerun somewhere or you know have the nostalgia for it. I don't see this one having the longevity of it. So I can definitely see why it jumped this high. in the list. Like, I personally did not rank this one this time. I don't
Right.
remember what I ranked last time, but I'm pretty sure that I didn't rank it either at that
Yeah,
point. So
I've actually recently watched I haven't watched obviously this had some like different titles for different seasons and
So
kind of,
can I run down those really quick since I'm looking right at them?
if you must.
All right. So 1973, we had Super Friends. In 77, we had the all new Super Friends Hour. In 78, we had Challenge of the Super Friends. In 79, the world's greatest Super Friends. In 80 to 83, Super Friends. And then in 84, Super Friends, the legendary Superpowers show. And then 85, the Galactic Guardians Superpowers team.
And
So those are
yeah.
everything
So
under the banner.
I have recently watched in the last 2 years, I've watched all of the 80s episodes that appeared in all the different incarnations. So I've seen everything that aired in 1980 through the end of the run for this show. And there is some that is much better than others. I will get that. Like, not all of it holds up to the same quality. And there's definitely some seasons, quote unquote, that are better substantially than others. I think the reason I still kept this on mine, I had this ranked number 86, I believe, or somewhere in there. So I don't think it belonged in the top 50 like we had it last time, but I still gave it a vote. And I think more so because this introduced DC heroes to like an entire couple generations of like mass audiences. And so to me, how many people that watched a version of Super Friends then grew up to be involved in the DC universe, whether it be in comic form or whether it be the subsequential like series that we get. Like,
A
I
lot of
feel
them.
like, a lot of them had to have watched that. Maybe that was their
Yep.
introduction from an animation standpoint. And then we go on to get stuff like Batman, the animated series, Superman, the animated series, et cetera, et cetera. So like, I can't downplay like that it had some impact, but I do see the argument similar to Speed Racer that do you weigh impact or influence over overall quality, and like where do you fall on that debate? So I can see both sides. So Mike,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people that like Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and a lot of those guys that went on to create Batman the Animated Series and the entirety of the DCAU cartoons that we got in the 90s, they grew up on Super Friends, the first one in 1973. And in that voice cast, you have two of the very most important people, which are Olan Soul, who voices Batman, and Casey Kasem, who voices Robin. Now, say what you will about Casey Kasem voicing Robin, it is what it is, but that's what happened. You have got Ted Knight as the narrator. You've got John Stevenson as Colonel Wilcox. I'm looking for Frank Welker's in here as Marvin White, and also Wonder Dog. I was trying to see where Superman was, unless it's listed as Plastic Man. Anyway. But like, yeah, you've got this specific, the original 1973 version that probably affected a lot of people that went on to create comic books and create other things. And I don't know, like, I remember watching the 1978 version Challenge of the Super Friends. I don't remember watching the other versions. I don't remember any of the other versions other than those two, the 73 version and the 78 version. I don't
Yeah, the
remember.
later versions do a little bit more of the team up stuff. They introduce some different characters. So like
Yeah.
you go from the Wonder Twins to like there's
Like,
some
yeah, I remember the Wonder Twins and stuff, but I don't remember
Firestorm comes in the 80s. So like
yeah.
you get some of
Okay,
that.
I just don't remember the names of the shows is what I'm saying. Like, I
Okay.
remember some of the events of it, and I liked it for what it was when I was a kid, but I don't know, like, you guys know how I am for the most part.
Unfortunately.
Sad. Sad. But I'm a type of person that like I just mentioned earlier, I will look at something and be like, "Oh, I now need to do a whole podcast series on this." you know,
there's a episode by episode review of everyone in the 80s already on GeekCast Radio Network.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is. I've already done a written review of every episode that aired in the 80s.
Okay, there's a written review, but there isn't a podcast. But you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I don't just watch things to watch them anymore. That's my point. I watch things and then podcast about them.
Right.
So I don't know if I could bring myself to do an episode by episode review of Super Friends or Challenge of the Super Friends.
Yeah.
I might be able to do like a season or two, maybe.
And a lot of them were made up of very small segments. So a lot of times you had like a 7 or a 10-minute like mini story, and they had a couple of them per thing. But for
exactly.
Sure.
So
this did appear on 5 of the 9 lists that we looked at as well. So just like Danger Mouse, it had some presence amongst the other lists. So it seems like some critical acclaim and universal love for Super Friends. I think the debate goes, is historical impact more important than overall quality? Yes or no? I don't know. So
it's a product of its time, and it is a nice, like, it's a nice thing to look at, like, oh my God, I haven't seen this in forever. It's for me, it's one of those things. Oh, I'm going to look at 1 or 2 or 3. Like you said, it's made up of segments in the episode. So, hey, let me watch a couple of segments of this to remind myself how cool this was at the time when I was a child. Like, I remember watching this when I was 5, 6, and 7 years old. So it's one of those things. It's a product of its time.
Absolutely. All right. Before Mike finishes his dissertation, we're going to make a move to back to Nickelodeon for our next one.
91.
I'd have to take this opportunity to say, filthy earth creatures! It is clear who the superior species is! Isn't it? Isn't it? You stink!
Right, we are back to the world of Nickelodeon, but we're going to jump in time. So we were at 1981 for Danger Mouse. For number 91, we're going to go all the way up to the year 2001. I'm just trying to throw a lot of ones at y'all. This one was not ranked in our original list. It was 173rd, and now it makes it to 91st. From Nickelodeon, we are talking about Invader Zim. So Invader Zim. I do not have a ton of experience with this. I know it has a kind of a rabid fan base, kind of cult following that got boosted because it got somewhat of a premature cancellation, I think, in a lot of people's eyes. It has a little bit more of a dark, unique tone compared to some other stuff that we had gotten before that. I did not have this one ranked personally. Steve, any thoughts on Invader Zim?
I didn't personally have this one listed either.
We all suck.
Well, it did have an 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 94% liked the show, and then 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So obviously there's something there.
Yeah.
I don't love the concept of it. Like, I don't love the animation either. And so this is, again, like I mentioned in the premiere episodes where we were kind of showing what we kind of garnered towards, it's a Nickelodeon show. I don't have a love for a lot of those. Now, it does have Richard Stephen Horvitz, who played like Alpha 5.
Yep.
In Power Rangers. He also was in like Billy and Mandy. He was in, the Shrek movie, Angry Beavers, a lot of other stuff that people would know him for. And then you get like Wally Wingert, you got, a bunch of different other people. I feel like it's a bit annoying, but
You'll have to let us know in the comments on this episode post of like what your defense for Invader Zim is. Do you guys think it's worthy, not worthy? If so, where should it fall? Like, I understand the cult following. I just don't have the experience. We tried to do our homework on a lot of these and watch, 5 episodes or 8 episodes of different things. This is not one that I made my way to. I just had too many other stuff I was trying to catch up with, and it fell through the cracks. So I wasn't able to do my homework, but it did appear on 4 of the 9 lists we talked about. Mike, final thoughts on Invader Zim?
Yeah, same here. No homework for me. I had too much other homework I had to do.
Right. So another Nickelodeon show makes the countdown. That's the end of the first 10 that we've revealed. Let's see what we do, where we go when we start here with the next one.
90.
Hey, paisanos!
Next up on the countdown, we're into our top 90 now. This was a cartoon that appeared on our list last time, but it has fallen 23 spots from its previous placement from Saban and Deke. This is a syndicated show that's debuted in 1989. We're talking, it's our first 1989 show, our third or fourth 1980 show overall. We're talking about the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
The Super Show.
It fell from 67 to 90. Didn't quite fall out of the countdown. Mike, what do you think of this one?
I love it.
Obviously, this has that hybrid format, which has part cartoon, some little live action wraparounds and introductions, which was somewhat unique. So I guess it kind of did some things there that were interesting. It was also an early video game adaptation. I can see some people making the argument that it doesn't belong. Mike, where do you fall on that?
No, I love this show. This definitely belongs.
For what it's worth, my 5-year-old has watched a few of these episodes just recently and actually really enjoyed them.
My kids did too.
Must work, even though it's from 1989. She thought she was in there laughing her face off and thought it was hilarious and watched more than I expected her to.
And the sad thing is, the last time we did this, well, actually both times, I didn't realize, wow, he died that long ago. So just before we did the first countdown, Captain Lou Albano, who is Mario in this, died October 14th, 2009. And just after we did the first countdown, Danny Wells, who plays Luigi in the live action, died November 28th, 2013. Now, I thought Danny Wells died a lot later than 2013. But yeah, no, absolutely love this show. The coolest thing, I remember everything about this show. I don't need to do any research, even though I'm sitting here on the Wikipedia page for the show. TV's Mr. Neil and I did a whole podcast, Pixels in the Animation, on the GeekCast Radio Network. We covered all of the episodes for this show and others. But I remember watching this show as a kid. I was 9 years old in 1989. And the coolest thing about this show running 5 days a week, Monday through Thursday, you got Mario and Luigi just as they are, Captain Lou Albano and Danny Wells just as they are, and you got 4 Mario cartoons Monday through Thursday. On Fridays, you still got them, but then you got The Legend of Zelda. And then Monday rolls around, you're like, wait, where's Zelda? Damn it, I want more Zelda. So they ran Zelda every Friday, and it is the one of, if not the best, I think it's one of the only Zelda cartoons they've ever made. It is the best Legend of Zelda animated thing they've ever done. And man, I love that series. It is so cool. Absolutely love this series. You said it dropped how many spots since the last time we did this?
23.
What's wrong with you people? Not you guys.
So it went
you
from,
guys.
No, I'm going to say something. It went from 67 down to 90. I didn't rank it. I didn't have room for it in my top 100.
Yeah, no. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about
I'm just saying I didn't have room for
people.
it. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it has like for me the combination. Like, I don't know if it has the quality that deserves top 100, and I don't know if it has the influence. I think it has some nostalgia and I guess maybe a little bit of uniqueness when it comes to video game adaptations, but I don't know if I see it as a top 100 show.
So it does have the uniqueness and it does have the quality. The uniqueness part is
I just don't know if I've put it in like Steve. So the video games they've both dropped quite a bit. Captain N dropped right out of the countdown. Like they went from it went from like 80 or 79 to off of the countdown. And then we have Super Mario Brothers Super Show goes from 67 to 90. So both have dropped kind of precipitously. What do you think of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
So I did list this on my list. Actually, my new list here, I have it. I don't even remember what my old list was, but this one I had it listed at 85. So I'm not that far off. Um, it wasn't that it was this stellar show. I think it was because out of all the different video game series, I picked this one because I enjoyed it the most, and I can still kind of sit down and watch it. Um, like one of my sons had it in his top 20, the other one had it in his top 35, which is probably why it's even on the list. Um, they found it enjoyable. They really liked the show, and then they found the part where they do the hybrid thing kind of weird. Um, but and to that degree, I kind of agree. Like it was kind of a staple of some of the '80s shows, the Ed Grimley type thing. Um, I don't I don't know if like any of these old cartoons. I know I have it on my list, but I don't know if any of them really stand the test of time. I think out of the different ones that came out in the '80s, this one or the Super Mario World are the only ones I would actually pick.
Hmm.
The other reason I kind of put it in here was because the new Super Mario Brothers film actually used the theme song from this show. And
That's cool.
so I feel like if people are searching it out, they'll be like, "Oh, wait, what's this?" And it'll get some kind of a small resurgence for this one alone because
Yeah.
of the theme that's in the movie.
And that's why I put it on for my daughter. So 100%.
And that's why I kind of introduced it and why I think this one alone stands out. But as a whole, like none of these '80s animated series that are video games stand the test of time, which is why they're making them all movies, and Nintendo is heavily involved in them now to make sure that they have the quality and the standards of the games. And so in that regard, the newer stuff's better. But if I had to pick any of the old '80s shows, this would be it for me.
Enough. I'm interested to see what other people comment on when it comes to Super Mario Brothers Super Show, as well as all the other shows that are being revealed in this episode. See which ones they like and which ones they don't like that we're revealing. It should be interesting. All right, let's go away from Super Mario Brothers Super Show in the '80s into a first entrance from the 2010s to now. Coming up next.
89. Plucked from cosmic shores, gaze upon dark inner John.
All right, like I said, this is our first entrant from 2010 onward. So just hitting that cut because it is from 2010. This is one that I had ranked. I had it ranked at 97. Obviously, it was not ranked originally since it didn't exist yet. Interested to see the reaction we get from listeners when it comes to this one. And I'm also interested to hear what your guys' take on if this one is appearing, how this franchise will fare overall. We know there's a bias here. Let's go with our first cartoon from the world of the Transformers. This is 2010's Transformers Prime at number 89. Steve, what do you think of Transformers Prime making it into our top 100?
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that it made it at this spot. It is pretty good, but I do feel like it's an acquired taste. It's very dark. We did get Frank Welker and Peter Cullen reprising their roles, which was awesome. We got Steve Bloom as Starscream. I mean, there's a lot of iconic voice actors in this show. And the show is pretty good, but I feel like it also kind of lost its way the longer it went. So I can see why it's as high as it is, or low, depending on how you're looking at it.
Right. Are you surprised that it's in our top 100?
I'm not surprised. It is top 100 worthy, more than I would say probably the Rescue Bots or things like that. Because each version of Transformers has its own flavor, and we've had multiple series, but I feel like this and animated were kind of the last, I would say, good series we got, because it's been kind of floundering with a bunch of random CG series that have various issues, whether it's poor writing or not long enough episodes or the voice cast is kind of mediocre or voice direction's terrible.
Right.
It's been plagued by a lot of those different things. So I feel like this is the last good CG series we've gotten. So I do feel like it's top 100 worthy.
Yeah, this one debuted on the Hub, and I'm going to tell you both sides, in my opinion, of what this is. So I think on one side, you're going to have people that say it's top 100 worthy because this is probably, some people would make the argument that this is kind of peak Transformers storytelling, that's strong character writing, that it's one of the most complete versions of Transformers we got, and it has that cinematic tone. That's going to be one camp. The other camp is going to say that we're biased towards Transformers shows. Mike, what do you think?
89. Okay, 89. This should at least be 86. Free up. But anyway, look, this show, when it came out, when it debuted, it was super cool. It was awesome to get Peter and Frank back. I understand a lot of people were skeptical at the time with the CGI stuff. A lot of people, because you're going from animated style to this, and a lot of people were skeptical about that. But this definitely does deserve a spot. Like I said, I think it should be at least 3 spots higher. But
Is the specific? That's the most specific critique I've ever heard.
This one he wants it to be 86, like Transformers the movie.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
So
I
look,
read between Mike's lines because
Exactly.
I talk to him all the time.
Exactly.
I try to avoid Mike's lines and reading between.
I know exactly. You've been trying to avoid my lines since 2009.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's one of
It
those.
was 1 year
things
before
that-
this show came out.
I know, right? Anyway, wait. Yeah, you're right. It was. So yeah, I like it. I think it's a good show. I think it does deserve to be on the countdown. As far as how many other Transformers shows are going to be on the countdown, don't you people know who we are? We're the fucking GeekCast Radio Network. Of course, there's going to be other Transformers shows on
I
this
feel like
countdown.
there's like non-Transformers fans that hear Transformers Prime at 89 and they're like, uh-oh.
Well,
Here we go.
Hello. Don't you know who we are by now? We've been online for almost 17 years.
Now,
Come
if
on
Beast
now.
Wars doesn't make the list, I'm filing a formal protest.
He's gonna riot.
We'll
He's
give you
gonna
we'll give you the name of the founder of the website.
Well, that's him. He can't. Yeah, he can't riot on himself. He can't go all beast mode
Make
on
for an
himself.
interesting live show.
I could
all right.
say it lands 00.
From one franchise to another, let's see where we go next.
88. An adventure begins, and a legend is born. The Dragon Balls have been scattered, and it's up to Goku and friends to collect them. Witness the birth of the Dragon Ball saga.
It'll be interesting also to see what people think as this one makes its debut into our countdown. It was eligible last time, but didn't quite make it. It was ranked 143rd last time. It climbs all the way up to 88th this time. So one of those that we didn't consider when we were doing all our speculation. The shows that got votes last time that would actually rise up the rankings. So this one came over to us in 1986. How about another anime entry into our countdown? This is the original Dragon Ball. 1986 syndicated from Harmony Gold here. I'm going to start with Steve because he's the most knowledgeable person we have when it comes to the universe that is Dragon Ball. So the first series makes its appearance here at number 88. What are your thoughts?
I think it's awesome because this show is what spawned a lot of the fighting action anime that came to America, even though it's not as widely known.
Yeah, not just for Dragon Ball either. Like this is the foundation of like a global anime fandom.
Yeah, totally. And they dubbed it, and it's been redubbed with the same voice cast as like Dragon Ball Z when they redid all of that to kind of have this unified voice front. It starts off. You can kind of tell he's rewriting the continuity as he goes on some of it, but it's very story-based, character-based, like Goku's, this Optimus that kind of picks up friends along the way, and you find out his story slowly as, his friends kind of peel back the onion that's his life. And you find out that he's not actually human, but they don't know that he's not. Like they don't know why he has the tail or turns into the giant Uzaru monkey when the moon comes out. And you don't find out until Dragon Ball Z that he's a Saiyan. Like that didn't even exist until that point. But you get to meet a lot of the main cast that kind of stick through and have been with the series since the very beginning, and find out how they went from pretty much everybody Goku fights goes from enemy to friend by the end of that arc. So it's been there's a lot of comedy in it. There's a lot of things that wouldn't get displayed on TV now, namely when Goku's running around butt naked. Like there's literally scenes where you see his butt or his balls. Like it's weird. It would not get displayed on TV now. But yeah, like you get to meet Bulma, Yamcha, Tien, like all these other characters with Goku. But it's very much the story of him and his goal of becoming stronger and a better fighter. And it continues on through even Dragon Ball Super. So it's definitely a foundational series, and I think that to have any other Dragon Ball series, like if you, I love Dragon Ball Z. To me, it's like my favorite. That was my intro to the whole anime sphere.
Mm-hmm.
But to not have Dragon Ball on the list is kind of a disservice to all anime, and especially the Dragon Ball franchise, because some argue that it is the best that we got storytelling wise.
Yeah. And I think from a foundational standpoint, we've had that a number of times so far in today's episode, from Speed Racer and Robotech in a way to Gummy Bears to Super Friends. I think Dragon Ball kind of fits in that same realm of like being influential for what comes after it as well. So sounds like it might have a little bit more quality in and of itself than maybe a couple of those other ones did, but the history I think plays a part as well. Mike, what do you think about Dragon Ball coming in here at number 88?
Never seen it.
All right. I figured that was the case, but wanted to check anyway. So, all right, we're going to take a break from Dragon Ball and let's go to our what will end up being our most recent show to make the entire list. Coming up next,
87.
We have to stay vigilant. To me, my X-Men. Magneto.
The last will and testament of Charles Xavier. Everything he built now belongs to me.
No yet, Mike. This is the most recent show that is going to make our entire list. This is from 2024. So there will be no shows that came out in 2025 that make our list. So from 2024, we've already had one DC show. So let's have our first Marvel show. Coming in at number 87 is X-Men 97. So it's from Marvel. I believe it originally aired on Disney Plus. Coming in here at number 87, X-Men 97. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah. It's a continuation of X-Men, the animated series from 1992.
X-Men 97, the one thing that gets talked about right now is that it's very good for what's come out so far. And the cliffhanger that a lot of people are left with is they think it has the potential to be even better than X-Men, the animated series, or at least elevate that to a certain point. But then the other side of the coin, I'll try to finish a sentence before you go, Mike. Let me try. But the other side of the coin is that, is it too new? And do we need to wait until it finishes before it becomes top 100 worthy or not? That's the question. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, the thing of it is we decided to separate it from X-Men, the animated series, even though technically it is a continuation of X-Men, the animated series. The thing of it is there is only currently one season that's available, which is 10 episodes. The second season is supposed to come out mid this year at some point. I thought the second season was already out for some odd reason. The 10 episodes are very good. I don't know if it's top 100 worthy, and coming in, where are we at now?
87
should have been way lower. This honestly, flip-flop 100 in this.
Steve, what does this mean for the superhero segment of our show, we've seen a couple now already. So just 2. We've had Super Friends at 92. We've had X-Men 97 at 87. Does this mean there's a lot still to come? Or what do you think the impact of X-Men 97 showing up on our countdown is?
So I understood, like, some people were asking, and this was in the fan vote actually, to have X-Men 97 included, because originally I think we were going to lump it all together because it still is a continuation of X-Men, the animated series from the 90s.
Mhm.
And people were like, no, I mean, it's the same, but it's not. Like, it's got a different title card. And so, like, in that regard, I understood what they were going for. And they are kind of flipping things on its head. It is Marvel Animation. It's not like Fox Studios. It's, they did reuse the theme song. They brought back as many voice casts as they could from the original that were still alive. But it's also, I think it's recency bias, like, for one. But I think, two, like, I can't tell, like, it's this weird conundrum because it's a new series. But it's a continuation, and it plays with nostalgia.
Right.
So we're dealing with all 3 simultaneously, and it's like, okay, so where does this actually lie? Like, where should it go? And it's also got 1 season, so theoretically it should never have been in this list, because by, our own account of certain shows that we axed from the list that had 1 season,
Yep,
it should have never made it. However, it was supposed to have another season, and I believe it was supposed to come out sooner, but because of all of the drama with production team and Marvel and Disney, like, it got postponed. So I agree it should be here. I had it much higher on my list than this, but it was because it's giving us that modern animation. It's still playing with the nostalgia. It's continuing that universe, and I always enjoyed it as a kid. It does have a pretty good rating on Rotten Tomatoes at 99%, whereas the original X-Men has 83%. So, I mean, I think, again, it's just because a new generation's been exposed to it.
It's definitely,
so I don't know. This one's weird for me. So I'll be interested to see what people's arguments are in the comments.
It was definitely one that was very highly ranked by those that ranked it. So everything that appears in today's segment is appearing on anywhere from 12 to 19 of the 44 lists. This is one of the 4 shows that appeared on only 12 lists, which means that it was pretty highly ranked amongst those 12 contributors. I mean, that's a fourth of our list, kind of. So it was highly ranked by those folks for sure. But I do think you make a good point. It's both playing on nostalgia and recency, which is maybe a good recipe for getting some more points for sure.
And the funny thing is, really quickly, I just looked at the episodes and I looked at the cast list, and Steve's point about both recency and nostalgia. The only nostalgia part for me when I watched it was Cal Dodd returning as the voice of Wolverine. And
Storm.
I don't, and yeah, and
I mean,
the voice actors.
Doesn't it look exactly the same?
No, it doesn't, and that's fine. You have updated animation and whatever else. The animation changed. That's fine after 30 years or whatever, almost 30
No,
years.
but I thought they made it like as close to looking as this.
They tried. They did their best.
You're also dealing with people that don't do classic animation anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's computer generated.
Exactly. But like, I don't even like, the first season came out in talking 2 years ago. So I watched it 2 years ago when it came out, and the 10 episodes, literally, I just looked at all of their descriptions and I'm like, I don't remember any of any of these plots. Like, I now feel like I have to go back and watch these 10 episodes to remember what the hell happened in this show. Like,
more
no
homework
clue.
for you.
No clue. Whereas I could tell you exactly what happened in Days of Futures Past in the original show. Like, it's just weird. So,
Like I said, it's the most recent one, so it'll be interesting to see what people's thoughts are on X-Men 97. Like we said, this only got in through the fan vote. And then and once it was in through the fan vote, enough people voted for it. 12 people voted for it, high enough to get it on the list. So here it sits at number 87. let's go to a new production studio and let's go back to the 80s for number 86.
86.
Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice!
It's showtime!
All right, next up on our list from Nelvana, which we haven't said before.
Oh, interesting.
Debuted on ABC, which seems to be a common theme today. This is 1989 series. I'm interested to hear your guys' take on this one. It was 157th 15 years ago. It has risen all the way up to 86th. I guess there's more love in this group of 44 people for Beetlejuice. Or maybe this was influenced by the more recent movies. I don't know, but we have 1989's Beetlejuice here at number 86. Mike, what do you think?
Interesting. Beetlejuice.
Doesn't work.
No,
Mike would do that, though.
Of course I would. Very interesting. I loved this cartoon. This cartoon was crazy. And I did not know until we actually interviewed Michael Hirsch, who was the founder of Nelvana. Did not know that Nelvana was the one that created this cartoon, but this cartoon was crazy back then. Absolutely loved it because as a kid, I loved that movie. That
Did have a
movie was
couple.
so good.
Sorry, I did have a couple award nominations, so it is a
Mhm.
little critically praised as well. Mike or Steve, I guess let's start with Steve. Do you think this one benefited from the recent Beetlejuice movie getting more votes, or do you think it's just a different pool of people that just liked Beetlejuice?
I think 100% it was fueled by the movie. Also, I noticed right around the time that the movie came out on DVD and Blu-ray, because I frequent Walmart like out of boredom, and so I go up and down. Yeah, pretty much every other day.
I do that with Target. So okay.
I go on my lunch break because I'm like, I got to get out of here and do something, and so I start looking at the DVDs. And so when the movie came out on DVD, is the release of Beetlejuice 2. The animated series miraculously shows up as a box set of the animated series in Walmart. And I was like, oh, did not know that, that it was out on disc. And not that I bought it, but it was just, it was interesting to find. And so I think that a lot of people are kind of rediscovering the animated series in proxy because of the Beetlejuice 2 film that came out. And so I think some of it's a recency bias, but I think that 2, it was kind of original because you had some CG mixed in with the animation. The voice acting was great. It was weird. It had a very 90s vibe to it. And the toys were fun. And it just overall, like the whole series kind of played in the nether realm. And you had all these weird moments that kind of fit with something like the Magic School Bus, like going into his brain, or different explorations of him or his world. His feet start talking in an episode. Detach, and
right.
I mean, there's just all kinds of weird stuff that happens. So I definitely think it's more of a recency bias by collaboration with the films. But it's not a bad series, and I think it's kind of deserving to be on the list this time around.
I'm kind of surprised it didn't make the list last time around, honestly.
too.
Like out of all the shows, I would have thought there would have been more love for it. It is interesting reinvention of the character Beetlejuice, because he kind of goes from a villain to an ally from film to cartoon in a way too. So I'm not surprised that it appears here. I'm more surprised that it didn't the first time, I guess.
Agreed.
So,
And I gotta say, Stephen Ouimet, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Canadian voice actor, does a great Michael Keaton impression as the main voice of Beetlejuice in the cartoon.
All right. We are going to go back quite a ways in time here for this next one.
85.
And now here they are, the most daredevil group of daffy drivers to ever whirl their wheels in the wacky races, competing for the title of the world's wackiest racers. Cars are approaching the starting line.
All right, for number 85, we're going back into the 60s, our third trip back to the 60s. So we've already seen Speed Racer and Top Cat. Intrigued that this one is making the list. It was at number 135 15 years ago. It has climbed up about 50 spots to get to our number 85 spot. from 1968, a Hanna-Barbera show that debuted on CBS. First time we've mentioned CBS, and that would be Wacky Races, which
wow
is interesting here because from a storytelling standpoint and all of this type of stuff, like might be seen as simple, campy, like not a lot of depth to it, but it did give us some iconic concepts and designs and archetypes like Dick Dastardly and things of that nature. So maybe more design influence than story influence. But Steve, what do you think of Wacky Races, another 60s show showing up here at number 85?
Out of a variety of shows that came out around that time, it was highly entertaining between all of the different characters that would show up. The Slag Brothers and the Ant Hill Mob, and it was kind of funny because it was announcing in a lot of ways like it was NASCAR
right,
mixed with like wrestling in a sense because of all the and they did blah blah blah, like and I mean, let's get for real. Everybody watched it because of Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Like that was literally
Yep.
that was literally the whole reason for the show. Like everything else was kind of weird, and then I mean, I feel like if you're going to remember anybody, it's the Slag Brothers, Penelope Pit Stop, and then Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Like the rest of them, it's kind of like, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's out of some of the different shows, like I did find it enjoyable for the times I did watch it. But yeah, I guess it's a lot of fun to those that kind of grew up with it or that like that type of program.
I think, and it's had a reboot too, like in recent years as well. I think one thing that this reminds me of, and it's not for everybody, I guess, but like one thing that I'm surprised it made our countdown, honestly. Like it didn't make our countdown last time, and I was a little surprised it did this time. I do enjoy it from a personal standpoint because I think it does two things that are somewhat of a lost art, which is one, it's kind of like that timeless humor that similar to like a Tom and Jerry or a Looney Tunes or things of that nature, where like the types of hijinks and the things that are going on, it doesn't matter what generation you're from, I don't think, as far as like finding the humor in like what they're doing. And I think the other thing that this show focuses on is, yes, they're not doing a whole lot of like deep storytelling or whatnot, but they rely so much on the art of voice acting and like the people that are supplying the voices for these different characters, and then you have the announcer and you have all of the different stuff that like the storytelling is from the voice actors. Like they're really bringing the characters to life and they're really like bringing you along. And it's like, I think there's a timelessness to it. I think that's why it's probably been rebooted to make it look a little bit more modern, but like still kind of rely on the same type of story gimmicks. Like, like just like the Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner type stuff. Like it's very similar to that aspect. So I get the draw to it. I think what surprises me is like shows like this and Laugh Olympics and things of that nature when you're thinking about Hanna-Barbera is I didn't expect any of those like more compilation shows to make the countdown versus like when it's driven by one specific character like we expect to probably see later in the countdown.
Agreed.
So that's kind of like where I'm a little perplexed, but I don't dislike Wacky Races. Mike, what do you think?
Of Wacky Races, everything you guys already said, plus so much more. Like, oh my god, this show as a kid, like so good. Obviously Dick Dastardly and Muttley. I actually have when Funko, I think they still make this product, but I don't know if they do or not anymore, but they used to make soda products. So they were these, think of the Funko Pop product things, but they came in cans, so they had to fit them into soda cans. So the products were made slightly slimmer. I actually have Dick Dastardly and Muttley over on my kitchen shelf there. Absolutely love them. From the Slag Brothers to the Gruesome Twosome to Professor Patent Pending to the Red Max and Penelope Pitstop. She's always getting in trouble. Like you guys said, the Anthill Mob and Peter Perfect and Rufus Roughcut and all that. Just absolutely love Wacky Races. They just re-released it on Blu-ray last year, the complete series. So I gotta track that down. But absolutely love Wacky Races because again, it's a different type of cartoon show that isn't your normal thing, and it's interesting. It's fun and absolutely deserves to be here.
Very good. All right. Sound the police siren because we have a tie coming up.
84.
We were floating around the universe for the past 20 years.
Ooh, we're passing Earth again.
Push the button!
83.
Oh, we're wasting time. What is your weakness?
Well? Dumb. Never tell the villain how to trap you in a cage.
You probably shouldn't have helped us build it either.
I know, dumb!
Right, that's right. We have a tie here, and we need to determine which one is 84 and which one is 83. Let's call it the Battle of the 90s, because these both came out in the 90s within 2 years of each other. One of them 1993, one of them 1995. One of them was nominated for over 11 different awards and did show up on 3 of the 9 lists that we looked at. The other one was nominated for 5 awards and showed up on 5 of the 9 lists that we looked at. They both were on 15 lists total. One of them has risen dramatically. We're almost talking Speed Racer here. This one has come from being ranked 289th last time to being in this spot where it is now. The other one has actually fallen from 57th down to either 83rd or 84th. So one with a drop, one with a tremendous rise. It's a battle between the Kids WB and Nickelodeon. I feel like I know where Steve's going to go with this one. I'm not sure with Mike specifically yet, but this is a battle between Rocko's Modern Life and Freakazoid.
Freakazoid all day.
Freakazoid.
Fuck Rocko's Modern Life. Freakazoid all day.
Tell me how you really feel, Mike.
He did.
It got violent and vulgar there for
Look,
I was not expecting that.
look. Rocco is great. Rocco is amazing, but Rocco can take the lower number. It's fine.
Rocko's Modern Life did get more awards, like I said, 11-5, and was on for more episodes. Freakazoid was the one that dropped 26 spots. It went from 57th last time to what looks like it's going to be 83rd this time, whereas Rocko's Modern Life was trying to make the uphill battle from 289th to 84th. Steve, what's your thoughts overall?
So, I mean, Rocko's Modern Life was okay. Like, it wasn't one of those shows I enjoyed particularly. And again, Nickelodeon was really weird around that time. It was, I think, around the time I was starting to get out of Nickelodeon, and I more so put it on out of just boredom. Never loved the animation, and the show was kind of bland. Like, there really wasn't a whole lot going on with it. So while it still has a positive reception, we did get a lot of good voice actors out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Alazraki, Charlie Adler, Tom Kenny.
This was basically a pipeline for not just the voice actors, but the creators that were involved with Rocko's Modern Life. A lot of them went on to be involved with SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
So this was kind of like a talent pipeline for SpongeBob SquarePants. And I know it was seen as like one of the most subversive or satirical shows of its time as well. I didn't grow up watching it. So
it
Rocko
came
is
out
a good show.
It's a good show, but it came out around the same time as like Angry Beavers and Ren and Stimpy and Real Monsters and Cat Dog and Kablam and Rugrats and Doug and
Chicken.
I mean, there was
and
a
all
lot
that,
of overlap between these, and then that's about where I kind of got off that ride and went, you know, that era. And so while I enjoyed it, I didn't love it. Freakazoid, on the other hand, I watched that this morning. I love that show. Like, I love the zaniness. I love the song is so fun. The Relaxo Vision, the Ed Asner playing Cosgrove and like, hey, Freakazoid, want to go get ice cream? Do I? And Or, just all the antics. You had the Loeb, which was the voice actor that plays Ra's al Ghul.
David Warner.
Yeah, David Warner's in it. You have Khan from Star Trek in it as Gutierrez.
Ricardo Montalban.
Yes. Yeah, my brain was space, and I was like, I know their character.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I knew you would. So anyways, I just love this show. It's got a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.5 on IMDb. I honestly wish there was more.
I've heard it described as proto Adult Swim in its tone and like early meta. And I think it also is characteristic of 90s cartoons with like the chaotic humor. I think that was one staple of 90s cartoons was like just the chaotic nature of it.
And as I finish my soapbox here, we did talk to Tom Ruger years ago.
Yes.
He was involved. Bruce Timm was involved. Spielberg, Paul Dini. A lot of the guys were in Batman the Animated Series involvement or Animaniacs and things like that. You also had a lot of the same crossovers of all of the other shows. Then you had, Joe Lay was the narrator. Like he had a narrator. They actually had an episode of Teen Titans Go where the villain unearthed the Loeb.
Yeah. That's true.
And had him, and they're like, we need to get our own, 1990s hero to fight him. And they're like, what about, and they start going across the list and like, no, too dark, too this, too that. And then they finally got Freakazoid and open it. And he's, and then he brought his announcer with him. So it was hilarious. So yeah, I love this show.
Tom Ruger may or may not have rated this one fairly highly.
Yeah, of course he would.
With good reason.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the man, I think, if I have my information correct here, either created it or produced on it. I'm trying to see here. Developed by, created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. So, yeah, I mean...
Genius is all around.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And
I love this show.
Is, the show, and this is one of those things where this show debuted September 9th, 95, like Kevin said. And last season only had 2 seasons.
Are you guys sad that it dropped from 57 to 83?
A little bit, but we have no idea what else is coming. That's the
agreed.
thing.
And I ranked mine at 35, so
it did make the countdown, so it's there.
It did.
Yeah.
And Rocko's Modern Life has joined the countdown, which didn't happen 15 years ago. So I guess the Nickelodeon fans out there should be happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, they're both here. We just had to decide which one goes first.
Right.
Or goes higher, which is in this case Freakazoid. And the cool thing about this show is it's basically a kid, Dexter, who is a 17-year-old geek. Basically, he draws this character. The character comes to life.
No, he actually punches in a code that was a computer glitch with the processor, and he gets sucked into the computer.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
And then he goes, freak out.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
All right, Mike, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you go ahead and ring that alarm again?
No.
Because we got another tie coming up.
82.
Talk about your ultimate rush.
81.
Who or what are you?
I am Synergy, a holographic computer designed to be the ultimate audio-visual entertainment synthesizer.
All right, we have to settle another tie between the spots of 82 and 81 here. I guess we can call this, the last time we had the Battle of the 90s, we'll call this the Battle of Marvel, I guess, in a way. But that's going to that's not going to seem obvious to y'all until I go a little bit further.
Well, wait, before you go any further, I got to say, 15 years ago, this would be the end of this episode. 15 years ago, because last time we only did 100 to 81.
Well, we pump more into these days, so
that's right.
All right, so a Battle of Marvel in a way, a roundabout way. These both are tied here with 855 points. One of them was on 19 lists, which is the most out of any of them today, along with Wacky Races and Super Friends. Those are the three that appeared on the most lists today. The other one only appeared on 12, which is the least amount of lists. So we have one that had the most amount of lists today, one that had the least. They were both on our original top 100. One of them has fallen about 26 spots, depending on the outcome of this tie break. The other has actually one of our two shows that has risen. So it is going to be higher or more lower ranked, whatever you want to say. It's going to be better ranked than it was last time. We're comparing two different shows, one from 2008 and one from, is that right? Our third show from 1985. So we are comparing, I don't know how you do this. They are both Marvel in a way, but I don't know how you compare these two shows. So we have to decide between the Spectacular Spider-Man from 2008 and Gem from 1985.
Sunbow, yeah.
Marvel / Sunbow. So that's what I did there. So we have Gem and the Spectacular Spider-Man. I'll go first real quick. A lot of people do say that Spectacular Spider-Man is one of the best Spider-Man adaptations. That has very tight storytelling and serialization, some big long-term villain arcs, possibly one of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man show. Gem did set some groundwork in a way. You might not have think it like this, but the female-led, music-driven storytelling was not really a thing before that. We do get some examples of that throughout time after that. Even like Steven Universe more recently kind of had a more music-driven storytelling. You could make some comparisons to Phineas and Ferb in a way. But obviously this is more of a female-led 80s soap opera, sci-fi, glam rock. It did have a cult following, but then we got to go down the line of, do we value like the cult following more or the more universal consensus quality and things of that nature? It was ahead of its time in format and branding. So Mike, I'll let you go first. Spectacular Spider-Man or Gem? And they were both on our countdown last time. They will both be on our countdown this time. What are your thoughts? As someone who may or may not have hosted a podcast that reviewed all of the episodes of Gem.
All of the episodes
and
of
interviewed
Gem,
the voice actors.
Plus the comics. Yeah. And well, not just the writer, the creator, literally the Christy Marks, the
I don't
creator
think you have
of
a choice in this one, Mike. I think you have to vote one way or people are going to come after you.
I know. Well, here's the thing. I'm actually on the Spectacular Spider-Man page of Wikipedia, and here's the thing, folks. I have never seen more than 3 episodes of the Spectacular Spider-Man because I've never dedicated the time to checking it out, even though I've interviewed Josh Keaton, who was the voice of Peter Parker / Spider-Man in that series, I think once or twice, maybe. I need to go check that series out. So yeah, no, my vote for tiebreaker definitely goes Gem. Has to get the higher slot because look, Gem was groundbreaking for 1985. Like there were girls cartoons, but there were no girls action cartoons. These are Gem and the Holograms and the Misfits. It's literally the battle of the bands. You have Gem, Kimber, Aja, Shayna. Who am I missing? Gem, Kimber, Aja, Shayna. Was it Rhea? I think that's 5 of them. You got Gem and the Holograms. That you get that band. You got the Misfits with Pizzazz and Stormer and all them. You got them fighting over all this stuff, and it's not just piddly stuff. It's over music contracts. It's over this. It's all that. It's just such a great, amazing show. And we did a whole podcast in 2015 to celebrate I think that's 30th anniversary. Yeah. 30th anniversary called Showtime Synergy here on the GeekCast Radio Network. We got a chance to interview Christy Marks. I think we've interviewed her like 2 or 3 times, but we got a chance to interview her that for the first time. Maybe that no, that was the second time.
It was the only time.
No, it wasn't. We did it for Beast Wars, I think.
I thought it was the same trip.
So
whatever. The point is, my vote goes Gem first and then Spider-Man second.
All right, so I will say one thing. I understand what your point was as far as girls' cartoons in the 80s, because we did have a lot of Rainbow Bright, Strawberry Shortcake, and things
We
of that nature.
did, but like
But
there was nothing like that.
hold on. I have to correct you before we get axes thrown at us, because you said that it was the first female action cartoon, and you may have be forgetting another 1985 series called She-Ra that also was in
No.
existence at this point. So
Okay, but yes,
I don't
no,
want you getting
okay.
hurt. As
Okay, October, September, they were out at the same time. Okay, yes, it wasn't the first, but it was there's a difference. What I mean by the first female-led action cartoon, She-Ra is fantasy. It's I don't know.
Well, it also kind of dogpiles on He-Man, whereas this is kind of standalone.
Yeah,
right.
this Jim
I'm
is
just saying, you said female action,
But
and
I'm
She-Ra would be the thing
okay,
that comes to
fine.
most people's mind.
Fine,
I get it.
fine.
I compare it more to like a precursor. It's like an 80s cartoon musical version of like Beverly Hills 90210 or Melrose Place or something like that. Like,
Yeah, it's what I mean by it is real world.
okay. Steve, where
Like,
are you falling on this debate?
I'm falling on Spider-Man.
Ass hat.
Well, I mean, you gotta figure too, like Gem was not my target audience, didn't grow up with it, and also
Weren't even born when it was released.
well, whatever. That being said, it's not a show that even I don't even care for it on the now, like watching it for free. Like Spider-Man, like I feel like is more universal or more universally watched, and especially this show, because it was also kind of geared towards the young, the new viewers, older viewers. It kind of played in all the realms, kind of similar to a lot of other Spider-Man series. And then again, you kind of have some of the same people involved that later did like Young Justice, and so I'm going with this. Like it's just more enjoyable. It's more of a different flavor of the Spider-Man the animated series show. So out of the ones that followed after that, this is probably my favorite.
You guys forced me into a tiebreaker vote here, since you both went one way and the other. And I will do a cop out here, I guess, with I don't necessarily have a dog in the race for either one. I think it's good that they both are represented. Obviously, Spectacular Spider-Man has fallen from 56th last time, and now, and which was fairly, is somewhat modern when we came out with it last time. It just fairly new. So it has fallen from 56 into the 80s, whereas Gem is going to rise from 87th to either 82nd or 81st. So a small rise, 6 spots or so, depending on this. So I think my cop out, though, and the way I'm going to do this without having to make an informed decision on either one is, and I'm not going to peruse the list to see what is and what's not going to show. I haven't memorized it yet. But I know last time when we did this list 15 years ago that we had like at least 4 Spider-Man entries in the top 100.
I'm
going to say that like there's a chance that we're going to have some more Spider-Man. So I'm going to give the vote for Gem just because of that. So I think Spider-Man, there may be more entries. Gem, there will not be. It's the only show.
It's the only show. Yeah.
I'll go that way, I guess. But I don't really, I don't have a direct opinion on which one is better than the other. I have not watched either one extensively enough to make that opinion. So, all right. So we'll go with Spectacular Spider-Man at 82, Gem at 81, which takes us to our next entrant, which is going to be our third time visiting the last 15 years.
That was a 2,000-year-old historical treasure.
Whoops.
All right. Another chance to talk about a, I guess, quote unquote, more modern show that appeared in the last time bracket that we were considering. So our number 80 pick, going back to Nickelodeon. We've said that name a lot today, actually. So we've had Nickelodeon representation with Danger Mouse, Invader Zim, and Rocko's Modern Life. We're going to do that once again here with number 80 from 2012, the highly acclaimed, yet sometimes controversial, The Legend of Korra, the spinoff or extended version of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It expands Avatar into some more politics and things like that. I know it tackles some more deep content like trauma and things of that nature. I know it's debated though, so I think we'll get people on both sides of the fence that say either we should have this higher or we shouldn't have it ranked at all. We obviously did not rank it last time since it didn't really exist. This time we're ranking it at number 80. Mike, what do you think of The Legend of Korra?
When did this release?
2012.
2012. I tried watching this at the time and I couldn't get into it.
It is nominated for more awards than any show we'll talk about today. It has over 16 nominations for different awards.
Yeah. I did actually try watching this. I think I got through maybe 1.5 episodes and it just wasn't my thing.
Steve, what do you think?
I did watch, and while the animation's great and the voice acting is great, I don't think I really understood it enough to continue with it. It is on Paramount and some of the other different platforms at this point, but it's I had to I didn't recall that it was a continuation of Avatar, even though I knew it was kind of in the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's set 70 years after Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I think that's part of why I didn't really understand it, was because I didn't have the backstory of the original. And I did watch part of the original, but I think, again, it just kind of came down to just wasn't something that totally resonated. And maybe I just need to go back and rewatch. I don't know. But based on the little bit I've seen, I could see where people would find it good, and especially when we have a plethora of shows that came out after 2012 that had kind of an art style that I'll just say that I totally dislike more than some of the Nintendo or the Nickelodeon content prior to this. So I think we were at peak Nickelodeon animation here in 2012 between this and Turtles and some of the other shows that kind of showed up. So I can see it being here. It's not one that I personally listed. But
it feels like an interesting one too, because I know there's a ton of Avatar: The Last Airbender fans and a big following on that. But it seems like it's a little split then when it comes to Legend of Korra. Some of them are just rabid fans of both, and I feel like some of them are more fans of Avatar versus Legend of Korra and vice versa. It's always interesting to hear people's take on Legend of Korra. I have not watched either one extensively enough to make a super well-informed opinion. I do think there may be a few people that will say it should be higher on our list, but I think I'm fine with it being on our list. I don't have a well-informed opinion of where exactly it should be, but I feel like its representation is probably warranted. So, all right, that takes us into the next entry that will be in part of our top 80. Let's see where we go next.
79.
Jigs up, Kite Man.
We haven't had a ton of shows yet from the WB. We talked about Freakazoid a little bit here, and this one technically is from Warner Brothers and I believe debuted on the Cartoon Network from 2008. Let's get our second DC cartoon here. It fell from 71 last time 15 years ago to 79. So it dropped 8 spots, not a huge drop, but a small drop here for Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Mike, what do you think of Batman, the Brave and the Bold being here at number 79?
There are 2 things that I love about this show. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, which is where Kevin Conroy guest starred. And then Pee-wee, Paul Rubens as Batmite. And then that's it.
I know it's obviously it's a lighter take on Batman compared to a lot of the gritty stuff, which I think appealed to some folks. I think a lot of other folks say it's kind of like Super Friends, where it could serve as an introduction into the DC shows for people. Steve, what do you think of Batman, the Brave and the Bold?
I don't know. I mean, it's got a pretty good rating on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. I found this one is because I think around this time I was getting some of the DVDs to review from Warner Brothers, and it might have been shortly after this, but this was kind of the gateway show that I showed my kids.
Okay.
Because it was a lighter tone, but it still kind of gave the vibe. I feel like it kind of mixed some of like the animated series with like the 60s hokiness of like the Adam West Batman and appearance.
Yeah, very much
and then,
so.
And so you kind of got this nice mesh of the two, and it kind of had a retro vibe to it, but it was fun, and it was kind of like a Super Friends, because like Batman and his amazing friends, because he constantly had other people showing up and guest starring on his show. And so I feel like this, I feel like the fact that it's on here is great. Yeah, it's not in the same positioning, but it's in the same realm, which goes to show that it's still deserving of being in that same bracket, even though it dropped. And there's been other shows that have come out since, so I mean, I can see why it would drop. Like myself, I had it in the 20s, and both my kids had it somewhere in the 20s, I think. And then, so I mean, that's probably part of where it's at. But
it also always adds to that interesting debate between like a franchise, like how many spots does someone have for a specific franchise, right? Like
or hero
or a superhero or whatever it might be. Like, do you only have room for one show from this franchise? Do you have room for two? Do you have room for three? You know, how many Batman shows will you give a spot to? And I think some people pick just one. Some people are willing to pick more based on the quality. So it always is an interesting thing to try to like get inside people's heads on how they treat that overall. But I think, you know, at 71 and now 79, it's stayed pretty close to the same spot. So like you said, it has some consistency and staying power, I guess you could say. All right. Next up, we're going to go to our second most modern show on the entire countdown.
78.
Come on. Knock it off, Todd. I think Amber's been pretty clear about how she feels. I'm nothing like my dad.
So we already had X-Men 97, which was from 2024. We're going to go back a couple years earlier than that to our second most recent show here. This one is from 2021. You could see it on Amazon Prime. Speaking of channels, I guess, you know, we'll just go with the streaming network as it was. Obviously, it wasn't ranked last time around. We're going with, I guess, another superhero show, so to speak, with Invincible here at number 78. Adult superhero animation, almost on a prestige level, definitely subverting some Marvel and DC comic tropes, a lot of shock value, things of that nature. Kind of used more like a comic arc than a episodic TV show. So I think we'll get a little bit of the same. People that comment on X-Men 97 may have similar comments on this one. Like, is it too recent to be on here? Or is the quality good enough where it warrants it? Is there recency bias? All those different things will come into play. Mike, what do you think of Invincible being here at number 78?
So I've never read the comic and I've never watched the show. I've heard nothing but good things about the show. I've heard people say nothing but mixed things about the comic. Now, Robert Kirkman is someone I have been reading comics from because he is the main creator behind the Energon universe, which has Transformers, G.I. Joe, Void Rivals, and now it'll have Mask coming up here in June with the launch of Mask. He did create Invincible, I believe, off the top of my head. Yep. And this is, you know, developed by him and everything else, but I just, this is another one that is not on my radar because I never really got into the original source material, and I don't know, it just doesn't, again, I use trailers because that's what trailers are for. They're advertisements. You either watch them or you don't watch them, but when you watch them, you either like the thing or you don't. And when I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. So I've never actually, again, doing all the research, doing for this thing, it's like, whoops, missed it.
I mean, I think this is not one that's going to be for everybody. I don't think you would like this one, Mike, just because of other similar things that it reminds me of that I know you don't like. I watched the first few episodes of it, and it was definitely enough that if I have time at some point, I would go back and watch it in full, because I think it is very high quality as far as like how it's made, and it seems like it's got some crazy stuff and a lot of shock value that definitely does go into it. So I'm intrigued to see like what all they do with it. But again, I've only watched the first few episodes, but I do know it's got a lot of love from people in the last 5 years. So I'm not surprised that there was 15 people that decided to put it on their list. Steve, what do you think?
Really quick before Steve goes, I will say you would think that having J.K. Simmons in this would get me, but it just didn't, unfortunately.
So all of the clips I've seen of this, and the few episodes I've watched, I did not get into this, didn't care for it. Now the funny thing is over the last week, Rob Liefeld has created a storm on social media.
Like he does.
Deadpool creator, because he said that like he stirred the pot more or less, because he says, I love Invincible. It's a fantastic show deserving of all of its incredible successes. Batman the Animated Series is the king of the hill, aspirational work, and BTAS has actually won Emmys too. And what's funny is the just sheer comments on all of the social posts are hilarious, because everybody is like pretty much in agreement with his comment. And aside from the fact, some people are like, it's different shows, it's as good as it is, it's not even close. Because Batman had the Emmys and everything else. But yeah, he more or less said that you're dumb if you're saying that BTAS is better than Invincible. And just based on what I've seen, I kind of agree. Like, I think that it's great for those that are looking for that new edgy style of superhero type thing. Even if some of it's kind of the anti-hero situations, and it's very violent.
It is for sure that.
But I think that Batman the Animated Series is a better show in that instance. So in that instance, like, I will say that Amazon has done well for themselves with this being an original series and focusing on, something entirely different in the superhero realm than what others have done. Both of them, I can see having the notoriety based on who was introduced to it comparatively, but I feel like the majority of it is not going, like, in the long term. I feel like it'll be forgotten, but again, that time will tell, because we've also got shows that have been there since the 60s that are still on our list, so who knows.
We'll
But
see.
I think for right now it fits on the list.
Yeah, we'll have to see what time does to this one way or the other. I would have to watch more to give like I would never compare it to Batman the Animated Series in any way, because I feel like it's different style, different, going for something different. So I
don't even know how that was sparked. So it was just interesting.
Right. So we'll have to see how time plays a trick with Invincible. Maybe 15 years from now it would be different. We'll have to wait and see. So we only got room for 2 more on this episode of our Top 100. So we'll get back to one of those final picks for today.
77.
All right, we're going to go back to the 80s from a cartoon from Ruby Spears. This is our second largest drop in our countdown. Now, I'm not considering shows that dropped all the way out, because I didn't do the math for how much those dropped, the ones that fell out of our countdown. But for those that actually made the countdown, we had Super Friends, which dropped 52 spots. This next one has dropped 46. Those are the 2 biggest drops of the entire countdown. So it's going to go from 32 all the way to 77. We're talking about the NBC series from 1983, Alvin and the Chipmunks. So Alvin and the Chipmunks with a gigantic drop, but it still remains in the top 100, coming in here at number 77. Mike, what do you think of Alvin and the Chipmunks? It appeared on 5 of the 9 lists we looked at, but it has dropped in the last 15 years, according to us.
The show was crazy good at the time. And wow, this had 8 seasons. Sheesh. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, I remember watching it, and I think it is good. I don't know if it's this high of a spot good.
We had it ranked 32nd last time.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell we were thinking.
You wanted it to drop more than 50 spots?
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, for me, this is the reason I ranked this pretty high. I ranked this 57 last time, or this time, I mean, I ranked it 57. So I did have it on this side of the 50s, but unlike last time where we had it on the upside of the 50s. But I think the thing for me is it's very unique in an early show that really capitalized on all of the different, like, I guess you could call it like a full ecosystem for its franchise. Like, it had the cartoon, it had the records or the tapes or the different things. It had like the merchandise. It had like, it was a massive multimedia brand in a way that almost nothing else before that had been.
Yeah.
You know, with the music, with the animation, with all the different things, and longevity, like, I think proves how cultural appeal has lasted with it. Like, we've had multiple live action movies that have come out from it. Like, people know who Alvin and the Chipmunks are. You know, the music and like some of their albums like are classic when it comes to the way they did the voices, the Bagdasarians, like how they, you know, did the speed up of the voices and everything like that. Like, is there a nostalgia factor to it? Maybe a little bit, but I think just from its uniqueness at the time, like, what else do you compare this to from the 80s or from almost any generation? I don't know if there's a comparable show.
There isn't.
So, like, for me, that's why I had it ranked number 57. Am I sad that it comes in here at 77? No, I think it's fine. I don't think it necessarily, I'm shocked it dropped almost 50 spots, but I'm not necessarily upset. I do think it warrants a top 100 spot, though.
Yeah, I think it warrants a spot. I was just trying to think of some, like,
You wanted it to drop 4 spots, right?
like, like maybe a little, like 3
No,
more
you
spots.
probably wanted it
Like,
to drop 6 spots so that it could be 83, and it came out in 1983.
well, you know, that's me and my numbers, but no, but I mean, like, I was
Like, the
like
brand
a
is what's strong
difference
here.
in, yeah, no, exactly. But I was trying to think of, is there another something else that I was watching at the same time that I was watching, like Heathcliff, Garfield, and Top Cat, or you know, something like that. I
Oh, I'm
was
sure you
watching.
were watching Inspector Gadget and Muppet Babies and everything else that appeared in the early
Well,
1980s.
yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like I was trying to think if there was another similar thing, and sadly, and this is going to be strange as hell. The only thing I can compare Alvin to is Jim and the Holograms because
There
of
we
the
go.
music.
All right.
Because of the music,
Let's
but
move on to Steve. No,
yeah,
No, I
Steve, what
mean,
do you
I
think
kind of
of
agree with everything you guys have said so far on that front. So, like, I don't really have anything else to add here. Although I did enjoy the show, and
yeah.
I feel like it kind of peaked with the movies, and then it kind of faded out again.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm surprised there hasn't been. I think has there been one new series? I think there's been.
I
I
don't
don't know.
think
I'd have to
so.
check to see if there's been any reboots. I'm surprised if there hasn't been, because you feel like from an animation standpoint, this would probably work again at some point from a series versus a live action movie. The movies, as cheesy and campy as they are not terrible from
No,
a kid's standpoint. They work all right. I mean, it's a typical standard kids movie trope, but like, it's all right.
The current series is Alvin and the Chipmunks. Released March 30th,
Yeah,
2015
I thought there
to
was
March
something.
4th, 2023. So it ended 3 years ago.
All
That's
right.
the most recent series, and
I
it's
thought I had seen some bits and pieces of something that was new.
yeah, and it's literally his whole name, ALVI, and like 3 N's with exclamation points, and the Chipmunks.
How his name
So
would get screamed in the show, so that makes sense.
yep, absolutely.
All right, that means there's only time for one more today, and we're gonna go back as far back in time as we have been so far the entire countdown.
76.
Guess who?
All right, number 76. We're going all the way back into the 50s, which is a decade we have not seen yet today. So interested to see your guys' take on this. It did appear last time on our countdown as well. Like Gem, it is one of 2 shows that actually rose over the last 15 years. So it went from 84 to 76. We're talking about Walter Lance's The Woody Woodpecker Show. It
Ah,
debuted on ABC back in 1957, 113 episodes, if you want to call them episodes. But obviously, this is a bridge between theatrical shorts and TV animation, kind of early TV package of theatrical cartoons, and kind of shows how TV animation was built on repurposed content back in the day. Obviously, you have a not a traditional produced for TV show, but more of a distribution format. Some people might not count this as a quote unquote TV show, but I think Woody Woodpecker is one of the most iconic classic characters. So I'm fine with him being in the top 100. I had him actually ranked in the top 50, but I'm glad to see that he climbed from 84 to 76. Steve, what do you think about the Woody Woodpecker Show?
So let me preface it with I ranked this at 91.
There we go.
My children, on the other hand, my oldest ranked it at 7.
Nice.
And my youngest did as well. And they
Oh,
found
nice.
it on YouTube.
I like it.
And so they've been discovering random shows that are old by YouTube or Netflix or whatever, we happen to have access to. And they were like, this show's great, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I was like, how did you even, and they were like, YouTube. And I was like, yeah. So that's me prefacing it there. I do find the show very entertaining, and I did enjoy it as a kid. I don't remember a whole lot of why I liked it nowadays, because like I haven't gone back and rewatched it just because I used to watch it, and I've kind of branched out to watching other things. That being said, I do feel like it has a place on this list, and it has stood the test of time because it keeps coming back, and it's had an animated, I think a newer animated series, and it's had a movie. So we've kind of had them kind of coming back multiple times over the years. So I don't know. I'm happy that he made the list.
I did not expect this. So that means with that piece of information that you revealed, which I could have looked at if I looked at all the ballots, but that means that the Woody Woodpecker Show has pulled off being on the top 10 list of both our youngest contributor and our oldest contributor.
That's funny.
So
Nice.
I didn't see that coming, but Keith Scott had this in his top 10 as well. So
awesome.
That is crazy. I think that's awesome. So Mike, what do you think of the Woody Woodpecker Show?
Love this show. Absolutely love it. Just some quick notes here. In 2023, MeTV acquired the broadcast rights to all of Walter Lance's cartoons from 1934 to 1972 to air the Woody Woodpecker Show on Saturday mornings. So
yeah,
that's where you can see it. But no, growing up, oh man, seeing Woody Woodpecker and Chilly Willy and all the Woody. Chilly Willy is the only person, the only penguin, the only character out of all the other characters that Woody Woodpecker hung out with. He's the only one that I remember off the top of my head. I couldn't tell you, and I actually can't tell you because they don't. The Wikipedia article starts with the history, the episodes, and then the season breakdown, and then the broadcast history, the home media, and the references. So it doesn't even list characters or voice actors on the actual Wikipedia. Anyway, but Woody Woodpecker, absolutely love Woody Woodpecker. I loved it as a kid. I love it as an adult. I'm gonna have to go watch some episodes on YouTube. Apparently, no, it's so fun. Glad it's on the countdown. And yeah, number 76. Woohoo!
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see that we've gone all the way back into the 50s here, just right at the end. And there's been a lot of different voices of Woody the Woodpecker over the years. Most recently, Eric Bauza has been doing it, but Billy West has voiced him over the years. And then originally, some female. Mel Blanc did it for a second, but Grace Stafford was a female that did his voice for a while as well. So definitely interesting to see one of the classic characters come here. Well, you guys I'm going to give you guys a chance to react to today's countdown overall, but I'm going to give you, like I normally do, just a quick breakdown of the 25 that we've revealed so far. So from a decade standpoint, we had 1 from the 50s, 3 from the 60s, 1 from the 70s, 8 from the 80s, 3 from the 90s, 5 from the 2000s, and 4 from the last 15 years. So right now, 80s reign supreme, and then the 2000s and the pre-1980s coming in next. From a network standpoint and a channel standpoint, so far the channel that is reigning supreme is ABC with 5. And then we have Nickelodeon with 4. And then we drop down to NBC and Cartoon Network with 2. We did have 4 shows that were syndicated. From a production company right now, it's tied at the top with Marvel and Hanna-Barbera each with 3. Nickelodeon and Warner Brothers, or Nickelodeon also has 3, and then Warner Brothers and Disney each have 2. So Steve, overall thoughts so far on this set of 25? What is your biggest surprise, or how do you think things are looking so far?
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised at the sheer change in some of their numbering. Probably the biggest upset was Speed Racer coming from like 349 to 100. That to me is insane. Or 166 to 94 for Top Cat, or 143 to 88 for Dragon Ball, 289 to 84 for Rocco. Those honestly are probably the biggest, like, wow. Because they didn't even contend last time, and this time they made it. And so it makes me wonder, between that and the new shows, or the ones that have ranked in a slightly different positioning on this list compared to the previous one, there's so much different already. Because like I actually went through the website to try and figure out, okay, what were our top 100 in one list. And so I dumped all of the pages, the 4 pages, into like Chat GPT, and had it like, all right, just put them in numerical order again, and based on, the points. And I was like, holy crap, there's like a bunch of stuff we haven't even gotten to yet. And yeah, I'm very intrigued by what's coming down the pipe. I'm worried about what's coming down the pipe.
It'd be interesting because we know that there's like 20, whatever I said last time, 27 shows that are going to drop out altogether, but nobody knows which those are. So it's like, outside of a couple that we revealed in the intro episode, you don't know which 27 are not going to appear at all, and you may not for a while. Makes it kind of interesting.
Yeah. So I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I get why. So also today we've had 8 of the shows that climbed up into the rankings. So 8 that were previously voted on, like Steve just read off a bunch of them, but 8 that climbed up enough to just make it in here now. We will only have 7 more the entire rest of the countdown. So the majority of those have already happened right here today. And then we had 4 shows today that just weren't eligible to be ranked that made their list, with X-Men 97, Transformers Prime, The Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So those were also newcomers. So that makes for 12 out of this 25 that we didn't talk about 15 years ago. So that's half of the list that we've covered today was new. So definitely intriguing. Mike, what are some of your overall thoughts?
Oh boy. Like I said, folks, at the beginning, and I'm going to say it almost every episode, it's a slobber knocker.
And we've only had 5 shows that their movement was within 10.
Yeah.
So Robotech was just a couple off. We had Recess, which was 10 off. Gem was 6 off. Batman the Brave and the Bold and the Woody the Woodpecker show were both 8 off. So those are as close as we came to like matching what we had last time.
But again, like I said, look at the difference. Look at the difference in the 15 years. 15 years ago, we had a completely, and again, if we can get Dirt on here, hopefully one of these episodes, we're going to try to get him on here. He said, because I listened to his episodes that he was on 15 years ago, if you imagine if you guys did this differently, if you did the numbering differently, or if you did this or did that or whatever, we're doing it differently this time. And instead of doing the 20 181, 80 to 60. We're doing it 25 entries at a time. Listening to that 100 to 81 and hearing us go through this now with the 25, it's so much different.
And I know
And
people
like,
do talk about like doing it different, like doing the median or doing the average ranking and things of that nature. Well, I did pressure test that against a lot of different sources online and did some research and talked to ChatGPT, and they do say that the way that we are doing it is probably the best way to go about it, from a consensus standpoint. Just because otherwise you have to get real creative, because if we went just on like how the average ranking or something like that,
yeah,
it really skews stuff that didn't get voted on as much, but just got voted high, and like there's some repercussions that would make our list completely different that I experimented with, and I saw what would happen if we did that, and I didn't like the outcome. So,
yeah,
we
yeah,
trusted
exactly.
what this method that we've been using, because hey, even
Oh,
ChatGPT
absolutely.
said it was the right way to go.
Yep, absolutely.
So
And
just
man, like just the names on this list so far compared to 15 years ago. Oh boy.
I would say we have a crazy amount of variety so far in this 25.
Yeah, nobody's gonna judge us on the variety to this point.
We had three or four superhero shows. We had four animes. We had five shows from the olden days. Three or four shows from the modern time periods. Were a little. I mean, yes, there was 8 shows from the 80s. I don't know if that means that we're not going to have as many 80s shows because they're all fallen now, or if it means that maybe the 80s shows will do better than we thought they were in all of our predictions. We'll have to wait and see. But definitely a variety of stuff that fell so far today.
But again, like, okay, we had 8 shows in the 80s. How many you said how many we had in the 90s? What was it? 3,
Three,
4, 3. Okay, so we
three,
had
only
3
three: Recess,
okay,
Rocco's, and Freakazoid. That's it.
and Freakazoid, right. Okay, but you gotta understand, folks, for the last 17 years, if you've been listening that long, if you've come in at some point within those 17 years, if you've listened to anything that any of us have done on the GCRN, you know what our tastes are, you know what we like, you know what we do here, you know what our biases are, and we're not even trying to be biased. The list is already made. The list is already done. And as Optimus Solo said, he's the only one that has the list. Steve and I are learning this stuff, and Steve, myself, and any guests that we get in future episodes, we're learning this stuff as he reveals it. So, yeah, we had an 80s heavy episode with 8 shows this time. We only had 3 90s shows. Maybe next episode will be 5 90s shows. We don't know. You never know, but it's one of those things where I think the 90s are gonna rear their ugly head and we're going to get 90s shows. I think some 2000s cartoons are going to show up. I guarantee you more Transformers shows are going to show up. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I think they will.
Yeah, and some stuff is going to show up sooner rather than later. So just a tease for next week's
Uh-huh.
episode, in our 75 through 51 segment, we will see we will see two people's number one overall picks fall in the 75 through the 51 range.
Right.
So
Oh
just have to
boy.
tune in to see which two those shows are. Mike, get us out of here.
Yep. We're going to get the heck out of here, folks. All right, Tunesters, as always, we want to thank you for joining us here on the GeekCast Radio Network's Top 100 Animated Series. If you'd like to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where it is very simple to listen to and comment on all of the content. Plus, we have a brand new fourth wall store where you can buy our merch. Visit shop.geekcastradio.com. Send us email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can check us out on all the podcatching clients you choose to use. You can follow us on X. It's at GeekCast Radio. I am at TFG1 Mike. Steve, what's your Twitter?
At SCP-21.
And Kev, what's yours?
At OptimusSolo.
All right. You can also become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCast Radio Network to check all the stuff out over there. As Optimus Solo mentioned a moment ago, next time will be the top 100 anime series reveal for numbers 75 to 51. For now, I am TFG and Mike with
Steve Megatron
and OptimusSolo.
Thank you for listening. Until next time. Oh yeah, and unleash the tune in you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've been counting down with us. The list, the laughs, the fire. The top 100 animated series countdown. Right up and desire. From number 1 down to 99. Every pixel spark in animation's timeline. Some debates got heated, some picked surprise. Voices clash, but passion never dies. Every fan has a story to defend, and together we made it from start to end. Transformers rolling out with might. Beast Wars roaring through the fight. Batman shadows guard the night. Dragon Ball Z powering into flight. Looney Tunes laughter that never fades. The Simpsons shaping culture through the decades. Family Guy twisting the comedy scene. Cartoon Network dreams on air.